In 124 years of Fordham men's basketball, history isn't hard to come by. But no teams have more history than Fordham and Manhattan. For north of a century, the Battle of the Bronx has been a battle waged on hardwood, with the borough's bragging rights at stake. Now, it's back for the 116th time. No team has beaten Manhattan more than Fordham, and no team has beaten Fordham more than Manhattan. From the world's greatest arena to World War armories, and from the Dratty Gym to the hallowed halls of Rose Hill, the most historic of rivalries continues today. It's the Fordham Rams against the Manhattan Jaspers, live from the Bronx, and it's next on WFUV Sports. We don't know when and we don't know where, but somehow, someway, 114 years ago, a rivalry was born. All we know is that one side wore maroon, the other green, and that the final score was 20-19 in favor of a college called Manhattan. Much has changed in the 41,986 days since. But one thing has remained all that time. The Battle of the Bronx, one of the oldest rivalries in American collegiate sports, renewed for a 116th chapter today at Rose Hill. From the campus of Fordham University, it's the 7-4 Fordham Rams and the 4-6 Manhattan Jaspers, live on WFUV Sports. Joe Henry here with Tucker Austin, getting set for a 2 p.m. tip. And Tucker, we've got a thing for rivalry games, us two. We called the Battle of the Bronx last year on the women's side. We called the revival of that Fordham-Iona rivalry a few weeks ago. And then on a brisk Saturday afternoon during finals season, it's the Rose Hill Gym that beckons us back for another rivalry matchup to close out the year.
And Joe, there's no place I would rather be this afternoon than inside the Rose Hill Gym. As you mentioned, 116th meeting between these two teams. Fordham trailing the all-time series 55-60, but they've split the last 10 meetings, 5 games apiece for both of these teams. Fordham going to be without Marcus Green due to food poisoning, no Louis Lesmond, and no Ryan Pettis either, who's the only player on this Rams roster who played against Manhattan last year. So Fordham, a little bit shorthanded, going to be dealing with a Manhattan team that is very fast and sneaky good when it comes to scoring the basketball. They score about 80 points per game this season, and they scored as many as 125 points in a game earlier this season in November.
Fordham injured, diseased, plagued by just about everything that you could imagine. Shorthanded coming into this one, but coming off of a 21-point win. Manhattan, on the other hand, getting a little bit more healthy, but coming off of a loss to Marist, their last time out. We caught up with Coach Mike Magpayo pregame to hear more about the matchup. Here's what he had to say. Coach, what you described as a heartbreaker a week ago today, but then a complete 40-minute win on Wednesday. How do you parlay the momentum and make it 2 in a row?
Yeah, there's definitely momentum. We've been playing really good basketball, and even that last Saturday, the majority of that game, we played really good basketball. I just told the team in the 5 last of our last Division I games, we've been holding teams under a point per possession, which would be top 50 defense in the country. We're guarding well. There's very much a team-oriented approach, and with what's coming is an emotionally charged game here in a little bit. And I told the guys, lean on each other, do this as a team, be the best team out there tonight. And I thought that's what we showed on Wednesday night, and hopefully, like you said, that we parlay that into a team performance tonight.
Coach, last year the Rams went on the road and fell to this Manhattan team, but this is a fresh Fordham team, though, and your first experience as a part of this rivalry. Ryan Pettis was the only Fordham Ram on the team this year who played in the game last year, but as we just learned, he's not going to be available. So how much different is the mindset in terms of maybe avenging the defeat last year rather than thinking of it as more of a revenge game?
Oh, I do. I've absorbed all the rivalry, the feelings of it. I watched that game last year just to understand, and Manhattan came out and threw the first punch on their home crowd. I went to the Battle of Bronx High School game last night, St. Raymond's, Cardinal Hayes, which was a great experience, just both sides, rowdy, wild. I think it's important to understand, we shared the story with our guys. I learned on social media this morning that I didn't know it was the oldest rivalry in Division I, 116 years, something like that. So I'm just looking forward to it, and I expect our guys and our team to be excited about it and ready to attack this thing. But with the Coach Gallagher coach team and some of the same players, they come out fast. They're faster than you think. Manhattan's just, and I mean fast, like speedy, like north-south fast. They're coming at you in transition, and our guys are going to have to be ready to stand their ground.
Yeah, other than that, it's a team that has great guard play. We've seen that in your opponents all year, but also has some pretty solid positional length compared to some of your other opponents. What does the scouting report look like for this group?
Yeah, I think that they're very, very good at drawing fouls. Those two guards are experienced. One was Sixth Man of the Year last year. The other one started. DeJour, Day knows him. He played him 3 times in a matter of 2.5 weeks down the stretch. Good news for us is we have 2 great guards as well. They'll be challenged. I really do think the foul game is going to be really important. They are very good at going to the foul line, and when they go to the foul line, they're both over 85% or somewhere in that range free throws. So we got to do a good job there. And then I do think that number 22, who comes off the bench for them, is basically like another starter. And then number 3, Roxborough. It's very inverted. Their guards really like to drive the paint, even though they're capable from 3, but they're really trying to get in there and draw fouls. And then their bigs, number 3 and number 21, are more like pick pop shooters a little bit. And then number 3 kind of bury himself down there in the post. But I do think we do have some length against Roxborough. I think we have to keep an eye on number 22, Jones. He comes out firing, aggressive. He really pops out on the film. So I think that's their best 5 lineup: number 2, number 0, number 22, number 3, and number 21.
And you just mentioned it a little bit. Manhattan does a really good job getting to the free throw line. They average more free throws per game than their opponents so far this year, and they score around 80 points a game. So they're a sneaky high-scoring team. So how important is clean defense with limited fouls going to be this afternoon?
Well, it's huge, as we just talked about.
Yeah.
We're super short-handed today, so we got to manage the foul game, maybe play a little more zone, making sure that we're very aware that these guys kick out their feet every time. We've watched it on film. That's all we've worked on in the last 3 days, is trying to defend without fouling, letting these guards land. But it's going to be a huge part of the game, because it could go either way. If their guards are in foul trouble, it changes it for them. If our guards are in foul trouble, it'll change it for us. So that is a big part of the game. And they're very, they steal the ball. Manhattan steals the ball, and so it's like, who wins the possession game? Do they turn us over more, or do we get more rebounds? I think that our advantage is on the offensive glass. So it'll be really interesting, and those will be the things I'll be looking at throughout the game.
Coach, thanks so much.
Appreciate you guys.
Super short-handed. That's the way that head coach Mike Magpayo described his Fordham unit going into today against Manhattan, and the bad news keeps coming for the Rams. Marcus Green will be out today. He sustained food poisoning last night. He's a late scratch, and these Rams, Tucker, will carry just 7 scholarship players into a big game.
Yeah, and Marcus Green is such a huge player for them to lose. He's their 4th leading scorer this season, but he's been heating up in the past month or so. 39% from three-point land, and they're not going to get any of that help today. Also, still without Jack Whitborn, who's been injured since the start of this season. No Louis Lesmond, who is another good three-point threat, as well as no Ryan Pettis, as I mentioned earlier before the coach's sound. He's the only guy with any experience against this Manhattan team for these Fordham Rams. So this year, this time around, it's a much different roster, but Coach Magpayo still understands the allure of this rivalry, and he still understands what it means to this borough, to the Bronx. The battle between the Jaspers and the Rams is well older than us. It's older than a lot of the folks who are in the building today, Joe. So it's going to be a really exciting matchup, but a really big challenge for Mike Magpayo to work with what he's got on this Fordham roster to try and match up against this Manhattan team, who they're pretty used to running 7 deep.
And for Fordham, the guy who has big shoes to fill, it's Roracor, the true freshman making his first college start today. He went 4 for 4 against FDU. He's been the answer to a lot of Fordham's problems at the wing, but now an even bigger set of expectations placed upon him. He's joined by Fordham's starting backcourt pairing, Day Reeves and Chris Henry, and the frontcourt duo of Akira Jacobs and Rika Schulte. Meanwhile, on the Manhattan side, they're going to roll out the same 5 that they've rolled out all season. An 11th straight game with Devin Dinkins and Jaden Winston manning the backcourt, Eric Oliver Bush, the glue guy at the 3, Fraser Roxborough, manning the 4 spot, and Marko Lubicic, the 6'10 center for this unit. It's a young group, but it's a team that carries plenty of collegiate experience, has plenty of accolades to its names, is coming off of Manhattan's best season in over a decade, and now they're looking to really make things happen in the MAAC.
Yeah, and Joe Dinkins played 32 minutes off the bench for this Jaspers team against the Rams in the win at the Draddy Gymnasium last year. Fraser Roxborough was also off the bench in that game, as well as Marko Lubicic. All 3 of those players were on this team last year, as well as Jaden Winston. So plenty of experience for this Manhattan team against the Fordham team of last year. But I think that's where it comes to this Fordham team's advantage, is that this team is so fresh, so new. These Jaspers have not seen them or the likes of this team yet. So it's a really interesting matchup. These two teams about to come together. We're just about ready for the tip-off here, Joe.
Fordham in its home whites with the maroon script Fordham across the chest, the maroon lettering, and the maroon piping down the sides. Manhattan in its bright green uniforms with white text and a black checker stripe pattern down the sides. Rika Schulte and Marko Lubicic are set for the tip here from Rose Hill. The 116th Battle of the Bronx is underway. The tip one from Rika Schulte into the hands of Chris Henry, and Fordham has it moving right to left. Reeves at the Fordham logo kicks left side for a core. Now left wing Henry. Henry back to a core, a quick fire 3, top of the key off of the right of the iron. Rebound tracked down by Manhattan.
Core was perfect from the floor in the last game for the Rams against FDU, but misses his first tonight.
A fearless shooter is Core. He'll come into a game and pull a shot right away. That's what we see in his first collegiate start. One of the youngest players in the Atlantic 10. Doesn't show anything in the way of youth when he's out on the court. Manhattan's first possession. Devin Dinkins on the right wing, driving inside on Henry. Picks out Oliver Bush, left wing 3. Circles off the iron and out, rebound Henry. Scoreless through a minute of play here from Rose Hill. Henry finds a core, left corner 3. Too strong, rebound Manhattan. Moving out with some speed. Here's Jaden Winston. Dump off pass for Dinkins, top of the key, kicks it left wing. Lubicic, his triple try off the back of the iron, snared by Jacobs. Still scoreless, 18:46 left to play. Fordham was slow to start offensively against FDU. We see that again today. Here's Rika Schulte, left side, low block, working on Lubicic. Couple spin moves, puts up a hook shot and drills it to open up the scoring.
And the German for the Rams gets the better of the Croatian for the Jaspers. Schulte shooting 60% from the floor. That leads the team, and he makes his first today.
Shooting almost 80% of his shots at the rim and converting at a 65% clip at the rim is Rika Schulte. Coming off of a 14-rebound game for the Rams. He opens up the scoring today. 2-0 Fordham, 18-13 left to go. Here's Lubicic inside on the left block, puts up a hook shot over Schulte. Battle for the rebound. Henry dives out of bounds and saves it to Schulte.
Awesome effort to see there early on from Christian Henry. He's going to be a huge part of the Rams if they want to get the win today.
And Henry the other way, swings it right side into the hands of Day Reeves. Thinks about a 3 on the right wing, kicks out to a core. Far side corner, dribble drive inside towards the right elbow, gives it up for Schulte. Now Henry, left wing triple try is short. Scrap for the rebound, won by Jacobs. Out to a wide open Reeves, top of the key, missed it. Rebound, Schulte got fouled. And Rika Schulte, who has wreaked havoc on the glass, will go to the line for 2.
Good possession there for the Fordham Rams in terms of the offensive rebounding. Coach Magpayo said that would be one of their strong suits in this game, would be on the glass. Manhattan's been doing a better job more recently with the defensive rebounds and not with offensive rebounds, but Fordham that time getting plenty of second chances. Good looks from 3, but eventually it winds up with Schulte for the foul. He misses the first free throw.
Schulte 23 for 29 at the line coming into the game today. A good shooter for a big man. At 10 points in the contest against FDU, but shot only 5 for 11. But as I said, the 14 rebounds, that's the single highest output by a Ram this season. As he stares into the abyss of the Fordham student section, starting to fill up here on a Saturday afternoon where the student body is populating Manhattan for SantaCon. Still plenty of fans here to enjoy the Battle of the Bronx as Schulte hits his second of 2. Fordham up 3-0 with 17:30 left in half number 1. Dinkins right wing swings left side. Now Roxborough, near side corner 2 is good.
Yeah, nearly looked like a 3 in that corner. We got a tie game now. Roxborough, and pretty solid three-point shooter, not a guy you can leave open in that spot.
So 3-all, 17-10 left to go. Bounce pass inside to Akira Jacobs. A floater is no good, wide open in the mid-range. Rebound Manhattan the other way, it's Dinkins. Roxborough kicks it right side, Oliver Bush. Pound dribble inside on Akira Jacobs, tries to swing it to Roxborough, catches it on the fly, puts up a shot from the far side corner and airballs it. Fordham the other way. Still 3-3, 16:45 left to go, half number one. Henry top of the key, pushes off his defender, bounce pass inside to Jacobs, puts up a hook shot, won't go. A core on the rebound, but he grabbed the rim. And a violation called. It's going the way of the Jaspers.
Yeah, pretty interesting play there, Joe. Rora Core using his ups to get up to the rim, but wow, he pretty much manhandled the entire backboard on that play using the basketball. Unsurprised by the call, but costly turnover on what could have been another second chance opportunity for the Rams.
Another slow start to a game offensively for Fordham. It was Manhattan getting out to a 12-3 start against Marist, but it's 3-3 through 3.5 minutes of play here today. Jaden Winston running point for Manhattan, pulls the trigger on a deep three, top of the key, off of the backboard, the cylinder, and into the hands of Chris Henry. Henry bounce pass, right wing Reeves trying to break the tie. Working on the bigger Roxborough, gives it up to Henry. Henry, right side, working inside in the low block, using his frame and putting up the layup to put Fordham in front.
Nice play in the interior there. Fordham doesn't necessarily have a size advantage in this one, but that time the side's working out well underneath.
Rams up 5-3, 15:52 left to go, opening period. Here's Dinkins, tries from the left wing and misses off the back of the iron. Rebound Fordham.
Now the rebound for Rikas Schulta, who had a double-double with points and rebounds last time against FDU. He's been doing that plenty more this season as he starts to learn and grow into his role on this Ram team.
Henry tied up at the logo, lobs a pass right side. Reeves cuts inside on the baseline, hangs up, misses the layup. Scrap for the rebound will go the way of Manhattan.
But head coach John Gallagher, the Manhattan Jaspers, with the fist pump as he walks down the court after that huge block underneath. This is a Manhattan team that draws a lot of fouls, but also plays very clean defense, does not foul the opponent that much. And that time a clean block underneath on Fordham's leading scorer, Day-Day Reeves.
And Fordham 0 for 4 from 3 to open up the period. 4 of their 9 shots have been threes. Teams are shooting 38% from 3 against Manhattan. That's a bottom 30 figure in the country for the Jaspers, but it's held up so far. And on the other end, a Manhattan team that doesn't necessarily shoot more threes than the average team has taken 6 threes in 7 shots, and they're just 1 for 6. So good perimeter defense from both sides to open up.
Absolutely, Joe. And yeah, you mentioned they don't shoot a lot of three-pointers. Their last time out against Marist, they put up 19 of them, which is a pretty usual number, even for an average team. But obviously, Manhattan not necessarily a three-point shooting team, but when they do put them up, they're relatively efficient. Jaden Winston, the junior guard, is shooting at a 41% clip from beyond the arc to lead the team. He went 2 for 5 against Marist last time out. It's one of those things that Fordham is going to have to keep in mind as this game goes forward, playing good defense on the perimeter and not letting easy shots go up for Manhattan, because this is a Manhattan team that will hang around for the full game and will not let Fordham get too far away and easily knock down a couple of threes and they wind up with a lead.
We heard from Coach Mike Magpio the goal, don't let these guys get to the free throw line. Well, they haven't so far, and Fordham's held up well defensively. Still looking for that spark on the offensive side, but it's 5-3 with 15:27 left to go in the first half. We'll step aside for just a moment. You're listening to Fordham men's basketball on WFUV Sports.
Hey sports fans, it's Bobby C. I'm the sports director here at WFUV. From live broadcasts of Fordham athletics to coverage of all the professional sports teams in the NYC, we've got everything a sports fan could ask for. Like talking sports? Check out One-on-One, New York's longest-running sports call-in show, as well as our diverse collection of podcasts. If you're a Fordham student interested in joining our program, feel free to shoot me an email, bobbyc@wfuv.org. And as always, thank you to all of our listeners who support us every week. 90.7 FM is the home of WFUV Sports.
Back to action in the Bronx. Manhattan bringing it the other way, and the ball's poked away in the low post by Fordham. A steal. Now Day Reeves the other way. On the right elbow, pulls up for two and drills it.
So pure from that elbow. There's no wonder he leads the Fordham Rams in scoring. He knows exactly what spot he needs to get to, and he hits automatic Day Reeves.
7-3 Fordham early going. Rams showing the 2-3 zone. Joe Henry here with Tucker Austin on WFUV Sports for the 116th Battle of the Bronx. As Devin Dinkins has it on the inside for Manhattan. Right side, swings it left side, and burying a triple, checking into the game is Terrence Jones from the left wing.
And not much you can do there. It was a good contest from Abbas Bodija for the Rams, but it didn't matter. He still drills the three, and now a 1-point game.
Henry ambushed on the zone look from Manhattan. Ball gets to Day Reeves in the right corner, and he drills a three.
Big answer from Reeves. We already talked about Christian Henry, but Day Reeves is another guy. That guard pairing on this Fordham team going to be so important if they're going to get the points they need to keep this Manhattan team at bay.
And Henry a steal on the right wing. Fordham the other way. He lobs it up to Schulte, who slams it down with two hands.
Rika Schulte with authority. Puts an exclamation point on that one with both hands and gives Fordham a 12-6 lead, Joe.
Rams by 6, 13:52 left to go. Dinkins pulls the trigger on a deep three from the right wing and missed it badly. Bodija the rebound, checked in the game for Fordham. Reeves the other way, has the ball poked away. Diving on the ground is Lubicic for the steal. Now Reeves goes crashing towards the Manhattan bench to save it. The ball goes out of bounds. I believe it will stay with the Jaspers, but great hustle from Reeves making up for his own mistake.
Joe, Coach Gallagher for Manhattan looked just dumbfounded by that play going on right in front of him. Bodies all over the place. Lubicic, Reeves, both crawling over each other, going after the basketball. All he could do was put his hands up to his face and be... I'm so glad nobody got hurt on that play.
Reeves went crashing towards the stanchion, the corner of the Manhattan bench in the half court after he lost the ball trying to push it in transition. Each side with two turnovers early on. It's 12-6 Fordham, 13:35 and ticking at half number one. Kingston Price checked into the game for the Rams for the first time. The reserve out of the backcourt has taken on a much bigger role in recent games. There's Jones, step back triple, top of the key, missed it off back iron.
And Fordham's going to need more out of guys like Kingston Price being so short-handed as they are. We might even see the likes of Jamison O'Toole, Aiden Crotty, Max Miller in the first half in this one.
Things could get crazy as Henry spins towards the cup and finishes with the right hand on the finger roll.
Christian Henry has been playing so well in his last 4 games. He's averaging 18.8 points per game, really heating up in this part of the year.
Other way, Winston with the alley-oop and thrown down. My goodness. Eric Oliver Bush with one hand. The tomahawk.
Goodness, Joe, that almost took the roof off of this joint. But we've still got 12 minutes to go in the first half, and a whole second it's going to get much louder.
Now Bodija spinning inside. The tip-in follow-through from Schulte is good to put Fordham back up by 8.
And a huge answer for the Rams. You have to answer an emphatic dunk with a score on the other end. Fordham does just that thanks to Rika Schulte.
Jones right wing, thinks about a three. Gives it back up to Winston. Lobs it inside Roxborough. Spinning inside on Schulte. The lefty lay is good. 16-10, Fordham still up by 6, but both of these teams starting to find a groove offensively.
And timeout taken by the Manhattan Jaspers by Coach Gallagher. He wants to figure some things out with his team. John Gallagher in his 3rd season at the helm of the Manhattan Jaspers. He brought them to their best record in more than 10 years, Joe. Last season with 17 wins is the most since they won 19 back in 2014-15. Gallagher spent 12 years as the head coach at Hartford University before they left Division I, and he's been here at Manhattan ever since 2023. It's been a tough stretch for him so far, but again, coming off of a year like last year, they may have a losing record to start this season, but this, I feel, is a completely different Manhattan team in terms of the culture And in terms of their objective, they're going to go out there and try to win every single night.
It tells you plenty about what John Gallagher is building, that 9 players returned from last year, that 55% of the minutes played returned from last year. For Fordham, Ryan Pettis, the only guy who had really played last year, returning. The Rams only returning 1% of their minutes played from a season prior. So a tale of 2 teams, but they unite here in the Battle of the Bronx. It's 16-10 Fordham with 12:17 left in the first half. We'll call it a media timeout, and we'll send it back to the Rose Hill Studios where Sam Giangrande has a one-on-one scoreboard update.
The one-on-one scoreboard.
Hello, New York City. Hope all is well. Let's take a look at the A-10's men's basketball. Old Dominion has taken on George Mason in Fairfax, score 58-all, a rare tie. Very soon at 2:30, GW takes on the University of Florida in Sunrise. Then at 4 p.m., La Salle will take on LIU in Brooklyn. Looking to national basketball, the Eastern semifinal of the NBA Cup will be held in Las Vegas, with the Knicks taking on the Magic. While in the West, also in Nevada, the Spurs are taking on the reigning NBA champions, the Thunder, for the Western semifinal. Tomorrow in Brooklyn, the Bucks will play the Nets at the Barclays Center, with light rumors of a Giannis trade going to Brooklyn. I'm San Giangrande with the one-on-one scoreboard update. Come on, Fordham.
Thank you, Sam. Joe Henry here with Tucker Austin. Midway through half number 1 of year 114 of one of the oldest rivalries in college hoops. It's Fordham and Manhattan. The Rams leading 16-10 early on with the ball. Henry lobs a pass into Boss Bodija, checked into the game to break a Manhattan press. Ball goes back to Henry deep on the right wing. Fordham trying to open up a bigger lead here. Henry. Right wing, lobs a pass inside, right elbow Bodija, puts up the floater, misses it back iron, but the tip-in goes from Akor.
Soft hands from Roar Akor that time. Fordham is doing an excellent job in the early going on the offensive glass, getting themselves those second chance opportunities. It's why they've built the lead that they have.
5-0 in the offensive rebounding category for Fordham. Manhattan the other way. A foul called on the ball against Kingston Price as Jaden Winston tried to drive it inside on the right side.
And that's one of the things that we talked to Coach Magpayo about before this game, is limiting those fouls and playing clean defense. Not a shooting foul that time. This Manhattan team goes to the line as much as anybody in the NCAA. But Fordham, this time with an on-the-floor foul.
Each team with just 1 foul so far. Winston deep on the left side of the floor. 10 on the shot clock, gives it up Oliver Bush. Now Dinkins, top of the key, steps back on Reeves. His triple try is pure.
Dinkins hit the deck but didn't get the foul call for the violated landing space. Fordham, a lucky break there that didn't turn into a 4-point play.
Rams by 5 with the ball, 18-13, 11:08 left to go in half 1. Kingston Price with a touch offensively. His pass poked away by Oliver Bush. Now crashing into the full court. Reeves will retrieve for Fordham. A stoppage as they reset the shot clock and shouldn't have. Fordham retained possession the whole way through off of the tip. So they're going to have to reset the shot clock. That kind of hurts Manhattan as Fordham had eaten away a lot of time recovering the ball off the tip.
That's the first unnatural stoppage that we've had in this game so far. But other than that, Joe, this game has been very back and forth, very fast. Coach Magpayo told us pregame that this is a very north and south Manhattan team. They like to speed things up, and that it was going to be tough to defend against because with only 7 players in rotation, or roughly 7 players in rotation, Fordham is going to have to stay away from the press as often. Manhattan, though, was working the press that time, and it's what caused the issue with the shot clock.
Fordham the inbound in the full court. They have 10 seconds to operate here. Henry on the left wing looking for a screen from Akor. Dishes out right side Reeves. Reeves has to go quickly. 5 on the shot clock. Gives it up Henry. Left wing 3. Off to the right. Rebound Bodija. He puts it back up and in. Fordham dominating on the offensive glass.
Abbas Bodija standing at 6'10", the redshirt freshman, imposing his will in the painted area under the basket.
Price whistles for another foul on Winston, who's gotten him twice now. Just the second team foul for Fordham here with 10:30 left to go. Rams up 20-13. Manhattan, a side out inbound on the near side of the half court.
Yeah, Price going to take a seat now with his second foul. Akira Jacobs checks back into the game. It's going to be so crucial with Fordham so sure-handed to get their best players a bit of breathing room.
Yeah, things can get real interesting if someone gets into foul trouble for Fordham. Again, just 7 scholarship players healthy today. Here's Roxborough, left wing, triple try off the front of the iron and out. Chris Henry the other way for Fordham on the left side. Rams could go up by double digits. Here's Akira Jacobs curling on a left corner 3, and he hits it to put Fordham up by 10.
That's so big for Akira Jacobs' confidence to see the first 3 that you take in the game go down. It can only go up from here, Joe.
Roxborough on the left elbow working on Bodija. Sauces it outside to Winston. Sit right side Jones. Jones with 10 working on a core. Bounce pass inside to Roxborough. Right side, low block, spinning on Bodija. The shot rebounded by Jacobs.
Excellent.
More great defense.
Excellent interior defense, as you were saying, Joe, from Abbas Bodija. Really coming into his own on the defensive side of the ball.
Manhattan just 5 for 15 from the field to start off. They have been cold. Henry on the left wing trying to work on a smaller defender. Bodies him up, steps inside from the nail. His floater no good, but he tracks down his own offensive board. Shot clock did not reset. They're going to get Henry for a travel as he was tied up in the corner. A turnover for Fordham.
But John Gallagher, one of the more animated head coaches that I think I've ever witnessed, Joe. It looks like he's playing defense out there. He's got a spread out stance and hands out to the side.
Were you at the Wagner game?
I wasn't, but I remember that story.
DeJuan McMillan, the head coach for the Wagner Seahawks, was literally playing defense the entire game. Meanwhile, Jamison O'Toole is checked into the game here in the first half, and Fordham in a zone defense is going to rely on the walk-on junior for some huge minutes here in a rivalry game.
Yeah, Henry getting a breather. O'Toole in for him.
Oliver Bush, top of the key. Kicks it right corner. Winston sauces it out left side. Roxborough's 3 rims out, and it's the hands of Jamison O'Toole. O'Toole hasn't seen real minutes in a game since the UMass triple overtime game because everyone fouled out in that context. Here's Reeves from the right side of the floor off the top of the backboard and out, but the offensive rebound from McCory missed on the bunny layup. Another offensive rebound for Reeves, streaking inside and finishing with the left hand.
The way Day Reeves flies to the rim, it looks like he floats and just lays it in softly with the left hand after a third second chance opportunity that possession for the Rams.
Fordham with 9 offensive rebounds to Manhattan's 0. That's the difference so far, 25-13. Floater tried, no good from the left side from Winston. Another rebound for Fordham.
Winston airballed that one right into the hands of Rora Core. Seems like the energy of the rivalry, maybe the energy in the building getting to Manhattan early in this one.
Jacobs right wing kicks back to Reeves. Manhattan shooting 5 for 17, down 12 now. Reeves kicks it left corner for O'Toole, but it's too tall and ricochets out of bounds.
There's a hot pass into the corner from Day Reeves, trying to get it to O'Toole as fast as possible. I feel like maybe he wasn't quite ready for the ball to be coming in that hot, but either way, Fordham maintains now a 12-point advantage over this Manhattan team more than halfway through this first half. This is exactly how I think Coach Magpie wanted this first half to go, given the circumstances.
He has to be absolutely thrilled in his team's effort on the offensive glass and in the paint. Fordham up 25-13 with the clock stopped with 7:49 left to go in half number 1. Fordham winning 12-4 on the defensive glass. That's great. How about 9-0 on the offensive boards? They're winning 18-4 in the battle in the paint. 9-0 in second chance points. They've dominated the kinds of facets of the game that Fordham has looked to dominate all season long against smaller teams, and against a pretty well-sized team in Manhattan. They have been everywhere on the glass and in the interior.
Yeah, even limiting the fast break as well, Joe. Manhattan has no fast break points. Meanwhile, the Rams have picked up 4 points added to their lead on the fast break. Coach Magpie was a little bit concerned with how fast that Manhattan plays their offense and with how creative that Coach Gallagher's play calling is. But Fordham's done a great job of limiting Manhattan's ability to run that offense and to run that offense quickly. It's been a lot of kicking out to the corner, kicking out to try and get some threes, because now the Jaspers in such a hole that they need those 3-pointers to try and work their way back into this one. Otherwise, Fordham will just be adding to their lead as Manhattan tries to chip away.
We'll take a brief break. 25-13 the score. Fordham in the driver's seat early on. 7:49 left in half number one. You're listening to Fordham men's basketball on WFUV Sports.
Hello, everybody. I'm Chris Carino.
And I'm Joe Henry.
Tune in weekly for NFL Friday, your exclusive WFUV sports podcast for all things National Football League.
We'll be covering everything on and off the gridiron for the biggest sports league in the world every week on Spotify, Apple, and wherever you get your podcast.
Can the Eagles repeat?
Will the Jets or Giants finally take a leap?
What's Shadur up to?
All of that and more on NFL Friday on WFUV Sports. It's the Battle of the Bronx, live from Rose Hill, and it's a one-sided battle so far. Joe Henry here with Tucker Austin for WFUV Sports. Fordham out to a 25-13 lead through 12-plus minutes of play here. Coach Mike Magpaio has to be thrilled.
Fordham treating the home crowd here in the Rose Hill Gym to a very dominant start.
The crowd filling out for these Rams on a brisk Saturday afternoon. Manhattan with the ball as Winston streaks inside and hits a left elbow floater.
And Manhattan really needed that because they've been throwing up a lot of those floaters that are air balls and really just seem to be ahead of themselves on offense. A very quiet possession. Jaden Winston calm to the rim.
O'Toole's first touch offensively is pass deflected, but recovered by Fordham. Gets it back right wing. He's going to pull a three. Misses it off the back of the iron. And a whistle on the floor in the effort for the rebound. It's going to go against Manhattan. So a missed shot, but a productive shot for Jamison O'Toole.
Yeah, they got Jaden Winston that time. Leading scorer for Manhattan picks up his first foul of the evening. Could be something to look out for as this game continues.
Baseline inbound, right side of the basket for Henry. Shot clock resets for 20. Henry's a little trouble finding an option, but he finds Akira Jacobs on the left elbow. Back to Henry, left wing, now Jacobs. Jacobs, left side, low block, kicks it out, left wing Reeves. Thinks about a three, 10 on the shot clock, kicks it out to Henry. Henry on the left side. Right side screen coming from Schulte, 5 on the shot clock. Henry has to work, between the legs, dribble, a step back try, no good. Long rebound, tracked down by Winston. Now Dinkins the other way, on the right wing. Pummeling inside and losing the ball on Chris Henry. Fordham out in transition. Here's Day Reeves running the break. Puts his shoulder into a man and is called for a charge.
Bit of a late call on the charge that time. It was well after Eric Oliver Bush, who had taken the contact. He slid all the way out of bounds near the baseline. And the call came well after that with John Gallagher right in the ear of the referee who made the call. Wonder if that had any kind of an impact on the decision.
Third team foul for Fordham. Manhattan with just 2. The Jaspers have it, moving left to right, try to eat into this deficit. Winston cuts inside and hits another floater, this one from the nail.
Basically the exact same spot that he hit the other one at the other side of that break, Joe. That's 2 now in this stretch for Winston. Fordham's got to figure out how to defend him in that spot in the middle of the paint.
As the lead trimmed down to just 8, 25-17, 6:16 left to go. Henry lobs a pass inside, finished off by Akira Jacobs.
Now, Joe, it would have looked great if he made the first one because it was effectively a lob to a layup. He missed the first but got his own rebound. Good job on the boards by Akira Jacobs to make sure he got the 2 points out of that play.
11 O-boards now for Fordham so far. Here's a Winston cutting inside, left-handed finish, no good, but the follow is good from Anthony Isaac.
A good tip that time. Manhattan starting to realize their own size a little bit on the offensive glass.
O'Toole left wing, Rams up by 8, 5:37 left to go first half here. Henry driving right side, loses the ball. It's going to stay with the Rams, much to the chagrin of the Manhattan bench.
Extremely animated Manhattan bench. I mean, when you're led by a coach that carries himself the way that John Gallagher does, of course the entire bench is going to be animated. He nearly took off his suit jacket over there near the scorer's table.
And now he wants a challenge.
He wants a review. That must have been why.
A first half challenge for the Manhattan Jaspers tells you everything you need to know about the emotions and the intensity level with a game like this. Fordham up 27-19. It's an out of bounds call being reviewed. Chris Henry lost it as he drove on the right side, lost it on the baseline. And the ruling on the floor is that it's still Fordham ball with 16 on the shot clock. John Gallagher doesn't think so.
Yeah, Coach Gallagher, he let the referee crew know that he was challenging that too. He took a little bit of a walk away from his bench out near the paint where the out of bounds actually occurred, looked straight at the head referee, Rob Riley, and did the little review signal with his finger. Very funny stuff out of John Gallagher so far, but I can understand the frustration coming from him when your team gets punched in the mouth this hard in the first half. They're trying to dig their way back out. This is one of those moments where if they get an overturn on this call, on this challenge, that could swing the momentum a little bit.
Sometimes a reversed call is all you need to get a little momentum working in your favor. Now, it's a bit of an odd choice to challenge, candidly, with 5:33 in the first half on an out-of-bounds call. Even if you win the challenge, it's just your possession. It's not guaranteeing you points or free throws. It's not giving a foul to a Fordham player, so not a whole ton to gain on the review, but the choice made nonetheless. Manhattan grasping for straws as they've really struggled offensively. 8 for 21 from the field, 38.1% overall, just 3 for 11 from 3. They've started to stray away from the perimeter, but offensively it hasn't been pretty. And on the Fordham side, man, a lot of missed looks that have been pretty easy, but on the second chances, 11 offensive rebounds. You've got 11 second chance points. That's where Fordham has built up this lead.
Yeah, and Fordham offensively has really cooled off in the last 4 minutes or so. The second half of this first half, they're 1 for 4 from the floor in their last 4 shots, 1 for 5 in their last 5 three-pointers. Not a recipe for success, but defensively they've been able to keep Manhattan pent up. Although now, with Jaden Winston working his way into the paint the way that he has been the last couple of series, Manhattan is finding a way to chip their way back into it without using the 3-ball that Fordham was defending well to start this game. So Fordham needs to adapt. They need to overcome. They need to find a way to get past this Manhattan defense, continue to get those offensive rebounds, and just build and build on this lead, keeping Manhattan at a safe distance.
It's been a group effort on the Manhattan side. The leading scorer is Fraser Roxburgh, who has just 5. Winston has 4. Dinkins has 3. Oliver Bush 2. Anthony Isaac 2. And Terrence Jones 3. Meanwhile, on the Fordham side, it's been a 2-headed monster so far. Rika Schulte and Dede Reeves, each with 7 points early on in the contest. They combine to account for about 50% of Fordham's scoring. The call will stand upon review, so Fordham will retain possession, and Manhattan loses the challenge.
Tough call to make there for Coach Gallagher. Doesn't go his way, much like the majority of the start of this game, but now the Jaspers have to focus back up once again.
Henry's inbound is tipped out of bounds, will stay with Fordham. 15 on the shot clock for the Rams. They made life a little difficult on the inbounders. Have Manhattan. Fordham's had some trouble, a lot of deflections off inbounds so far. Henry side out. On the far side, gets it in easily to Reeves. Gets it back on the right wing, kicks it left side for Jacobs. Fires a pass inside for Schulte. 7 on the shot clock, working low block on the smaller Isaac. Schulte with 3. Schulte spinning, lefty hook shot, it's good.
Tell you what, that was excellent defense by Anthony Isaac, but better shooting from Rika Schulte. He is so good moving around the post, spinning off and putting up that hook.
Schulte 4 for 4 so far as Anthony Isaac on the left side low block puts his shoulder into Schulte and draws the foul. He'll go to the line for Manhattan's first 2 free throws of the game.
Well, you'd love to see that aggressiveness in a game with as much history behind it as this. Rika Schulte goes on the offensive end for the Fordham Rams and puts the work on Anthony Isaac underneath the basket and gets the hook shot to go on the other end. Anthony Isaac brings it right down, puts his shoulder into the chest of Schulte and draws the foul. The battle between those two underneath. Schulte has the size advantage, but you're seeing a lot of really good fight out of Isaac as well. It's going to be a battle between those two today.
Isaac hits on his first of two. It's a 9-point Fordham lead, 29-20, with 5:01 left in the opening half. Isaac's second is good as well to make it a 7-point game, make it an 8-point game rather. Feels like a pivotal stretch here for both of these teams. Fordham has really controlled play on the offensive end and with their work on the glass. Now the lead just 8. Will Fordham be able to expand it as they have done so in recent games towards the end of the first half, or will Manhattan have a counterpunch? Akor checked back into the game, right wing, lobs a pass into Jacobs. Jacobs gets it back, top of the key, pulls the three, missed it. Rebound for Roxborough.
And it was a great look. Good little passing play between Schulte and Akira Jacobs, but Jacobs just couldn't get it to go.
Devin Dinkins at the controls for Manhattan, trying to bring them within 5 or 6 points here. 4:23 left in the opening half. Roxborough, top of the key, fires a pass right wing. Isaac, he'll try the three and misses it short. It will trickle out of bounds. And Manhattan is now 3 for 12 from distance.
Yeah, the three ball certainly burning them in this game, worse than it has in previous games. This Manhattan team usually likes to score a majority of their points from within the line, as we've been talking about the entire game. And at what point do they maybe think about just going away from three-pointer altogether, because it's so inefficient to start this game?
Manhattan just 8 points in the paint. Fordham has 22. Left wing Henry bites his defender on a pump fake, cuts inside, nearly loses the ball, gets it back. They're going to call a travel as he effectively dropped the ball, picked it back up, and tried to dribble again as though it were tipped, but it was not.
One of the weirder double dribbles I think I've ever seen, Joe, but either way, I think, and honestly, it wasn't a terrible idea from Christian Henry to try and act as if that ball was tipped, because honestly he could have gotten away with it if there was a slightly closer hand from a Manhattan defender. Either way, though, this is exactly what I was talking about earlier in this game, Joe. Manhattan still hanging around. They're only 8 points behind despite all of the lopsided stats, offensive rebounds, defensive rebounds, paint points. Across the board, Fordham is outplaying Manhattan in a lot of categories, but it's still only an 8-point game.
Media timeout. Fordham leads Manhattan 29-21 with 3:57 left in the first half. Let's kick things over to Sam Giangrande with another one-on-one scoreboard update.
The one-on-one scoreboard.
Hello, New York City. Make sure you salt the streets today, since we are expecting a bit of snow tonight. But let's look at some NFL matchups for tomorrow. Get your Sunday tickets ready for these great games. The Giants will be expecting the Commanders to come to the Meadowlands at 1 p.m. with tickets at only $8. Yes, you heard me right, 8 big ones. Some hot dogs are more expensive, so if you want to watch the Giants at MetLife, now is the time. But if you don't, I don't blame you. Also at 1 p.m., the Jets will travel to Jacksonville to take on the Jaguars. The Jets with little to prove, with the Jags comfortably holding their division lead. A Super Bowl-worthy game at 1 p.m., the Bills travel to Foxborough to take on the Patriots, with the battle of two great quarterbacks, Josh Allen and Drake May. At 4:30, the Panthers travel to New Orleans to take on the Saints, with the Panthers leading the NFC South for the first time since 2015 when they went to the Super Bowl. At the same time, the more important game across the country, we see the Lions take on the Rams at SoFi Stadium. At 4:30 p.m., the whole country will be watching the double revenge game in California. I'm Sam Giangrande with the one-on-one scoreboard update. Let's go Rams!
Thank you, Sam. Joe Henry, Tucker Austin, courtside from the Rose Hill Gym. Battle 116 of the Bronx between the Fordham University Rams, leading 29-21 over the Manhattan Jaspers. And Tucker, it's been a dominant showing on the inside for Fordham so far.
Yeah, Fordham's done an excellent job, despite maybe not having a size advantage over some of the bigger players on this Jasper team. Fordham has done a better job with body positioning and a better job with timing their jumps to get so many offensive rebounds. 11 for the Rams, just 1 for Manhattan.
Terrence Jones has it right wing for the Jaspers, has a pass poked away by Bodija, checking the game for Fordham, but retrieved by Terrence Jones, now on the left side with 10 on the shot clock. Loses his dribble, gives it up to Oliver Bush. Bush on the left side, now at the free throw line, streaking inside on the core, great defense, and the shot hits off the front of the iron. Henry the other way at the right elbow, loses the ball, a steal from Isaac, and a foul called on Henry, who went crashing towards the floor. So some more sloppy play from the Rams offensively.
Something else to keep in mind, Joe, is going to be the turnover margin in this game, especially if it stays this relatively close. Fordham now 7 turnovers to 3 for Manhattan. Manhattan outsteals their opponents by around 2 steals per game, but the Rams are currently leading in steals, 3 for the Rams, 2 for Manhattan. So we'll see if Fordham can maintain an advantage there. Otherwise, the Jaspers could get back into this one.
Fordham victim to some dead ball turnovers. They have 7 turnovers already. That's the one negative spot for the Rams so far. Here's a left wing try from Oliver Bush. No good. Tracked down by Jacobs. Another missed 3 for Manhattan. And by a guy in Oliver Bush who really doesn't shoot a whole ton for this team. Fordham the other way. Bodija tied up on the right block. Streaks inside. Passes batted away into the hands of Manhattan.
Tough look there from Bodija. Tried to get it to Jacobs, but probably could have taken it to the rim himself.
Fordham up 29-21. Terrence Jones steps into a deep 2. Contested, misses it. And the rebound tracked down by Fordham.
Just barely saved by Jacobs. His 6th board of the game already as he tipped it into Henry right on the baseline.
Still 29-21 Rams, 2:22 to go. A scoreless stretch here as a core dribble drives to the left side, tries for the reverse layup, and misses off the bottom of the backboard. But Henry gets his hands on a full court pass ahead, a steal. Now Henry, right wing 3, airballed it short. Fight for the rebound will go out and in favor of the Jaspers.
And Joe, those are the kind of looks that you just cannot miss if the game is going to be this close. Christian Henry, who is usually a solid 3-point shooter. And remember his run from the start of the Iona game where he made his first 3 and nearly shot the lights out. But that time, Henry, a wide open look on the right wing and left it short, just whispering off of the net. Again, a shot that has to go in if you're the Fordham Rams. You cannot be giving up easy looks like that.
A wide open shot for Henry. Fordham 2 for 10 from distance so far. It's helping keep Manhattan in this one. Still an 8-point game, 29-21. Winston cuts inside, dumps it off to Isaac. Right block, and he hits on the layup.
Jasper fans in the building starting to make themselves heard a little bit here as Manhattan pulls within 6.
We heard murmurings of a Manhattan party bus pulling up to Rose Hill for this one. An involved crowd on both sides. Chance of defense as Fordham breaks the zone defense and Bodija slams down a dunk.
Big answer there from Bodija. Maybe quiets those visiting fans a little bit with the emphatic throwdown.
Isaac the other way, bodies up on Schulte, too strong on the layup. He gets his own miss, puts it back up, and gets fouled. Anthony Isaac has had some energy off the bench for the Jaspers.
That one is going to come against Aurora Core. So Fordham starting to spread out those personal fouls a little bit. Kingston Price still with 2, hasn't checked back into the game since he picked up his 2nd, but now Henry, Reeves, Akor, and Schulte all with a foul apiece to their names.
6 fouls as a team for Fordham, so Manhattan into the bonus. Isaac will get 2 no matter what off the shooting foul, and he buries his first.
Meanwhile, just 2 personal fouls against the Manhattan Jaspers, so pretty much exactly what Coach Magpaio was also a little bit worried about, was just how clean of a game that the Jaspers play and how good they are at baiting their opponents into fouling probably more than they'd like to.
Isaac hits on his 2nd, 31-25, the Fordham lead as Akira Jacobs checks back in for Fordham. Marko Lubicic back in for Manhattan for the final 1 minute and 8 seconds of the first half from Rose Hill. Henry at the script Fordham logo. Bounce pass at the nail Schulte. Left wing Reeves. Reeves will cut his way inside. Settles for a 10-foot jumper. Misses off back iron. Rebound Roxborough.
Schulte nearly got up for the offensive board there, but just barely mistimed the jump with the ball bouncing straight up off the rim.
Dinkins right wing, probing on Reeves. Gives it back up to Winston. Bunch of dribble moves on Akor. He's going to drive the left side. Winston rejected by Akor. Scrap for the rebound, won by Fordham. Final 30 seconds here of half number 1, just a 2-second separation, shot and game clock. Chris Henry will slow things down for the Rams, up by 6.
Definitely need a score here if you're the Rams. Up by 6, you want to make it 8 and give Manhattan just a sliver of time to try and answer it before the half.
Henry directing traffic, 10 on the shot clock, 12 on the game clock. Henry with 7. Henry got to go, right side screen from Schulte, 4 seconds, gives it up a core, left wing triple try, no good. Rebound, Manhattan, 1 second left to go. They're not going to get a shot off as the pass to Dinkins came far too late. And that's how the first half ends, 31-25, a terrific defensive effort from Fordham. Dominance on the offensive glass, but a close game nonetheless as these Fordham Rams struggle to find a way to build up a double-digit lead against an opponent that has struggled from the field.
A low-scoring affair so far, Joe, but are we that surprised between these two teams? You said in your open, the first meeting between these two teams ended 20-19. It has always been a defensive battle when the Jaspers and the Rams get to doing battle. It's been a really energetic game so far, a lot of really good defense being played, but also a lot of really solid offense as well. It should be mentioned that Rikus Schulte up to 9 points for the Rams, perfect from the floor so far. He's 4 of 4, but you look down the rest of the line for the Rams shooting, and it's just been really rough, especially in the second 10 minutes of that first half. They went scoreless in the last minute 33 of that half. Schulte, of course, was the only one who was scoring perfectly, but Jacobs 2 for 6, a core 1 for 6, 2 for 7 for Christian Henry, who's been out there for a majority of this game. Fordham needs to find the bottom of the hoop much, much more to start the second half as well. If they can start the second the same way they started the first, they should be able to pull enough away.
Fordham connecting at just a 40% clip on some good looks in the first half, shooting just 18% from 3, 2 for 11. Manhattan on the other end, 32.1% from the field. That's the second lowest field goal percentage that Fordham has held an opponent to all year in a single half. That would be the second half against LIU the last time they had a half this strong defensively. Just 25 points through 20 minutes for Manhattan, but just 31 for Fordham. Gearing up for a good one here in the Battle of the Bronx, but we're going to send it back to the Rose Hill Studios, where Sam Giangrande joins Travis Hayden to host your one-on-one halftime report.
The one-on-one halftime report.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the one-on-one halftime report. I'm here with Sam Giangrande. Thank you so much, Joe and Tucker. Sam, it's a big one in the Battle of the Bronx right now. Fordham up 31-25, and it looks like a lot is going right now.
It is. A lot of people thought Fordham would struggle, especially with slight rumors going around that the Jaspers were bringing a huge 100-person party bus to the Rose Hill Gym to watch this game, but Fordham's been able to handle the Jaspers offense, being very good defensively, and being able to handle that massive crowd.
Yeah, no, it's definitely a split crowd. It's having something be called the Battle of the Bronx just means, like, it's territorial. Like, this is a rivalry game.
It's a mental game.
This is very important, and so far it's been a great first half for the Rams. Shooting percentage is going really well. They're shooting 40% compared to the Jaspers 32%. The Rams, where they're making their biggest contribution, though, is the rebounds.
100%.
28-12. There's been games where we've seen Fordham have even with the rebounds, where maybe sometimes they've been losing the battle, but they've still been winning. They're dominating the boards today, even with 8 turnovers. It just seems to be everything's going right. 11 offensive rebounds is an insane amount of number, and the fact when you are able to out-rebound a team on offense, when they're on defense, usually you're going to have more defensive rebounds than offensive rebounds, but when Fordham is out-rebounding the Jaspers on their own possessions, for when they missed a shot, that is just everything to playing winning basketball right there.
It's dominance. No matter which way you see it, it's dominance right now on the court, and it's shocking when you think that Fordham's team, there was a little sickness going around, and they only have 7 players for this whole thing, but they're managing, they're not wasting their energy, they're conserving, doing that rotation, which is putting up against this Jaspers team, who is known for an incredible offense, but they have not been able to break through the Fordham Rams.
Yeah, so the biggest stat that's standing out to me right now is the offensive rebounds to defensive, the offensive rebounds for Fordham to the defensive rebounds for Manhattan. 11-10. That is crazy that they are attacking the glass after missing shots, and they are putting it back. They're putting it back up. It's very interesting to see. Fordham is shooting 18% from the three. They are 2 for 11 right now. As something we've seen in previous games before, they tend to get that percentage a little bit more up by halftime. They'll start taking a little more threes. They do have a comfortable lead right now. They are not playing from behind, so I think they should just stick to what is working.
Definitely. Fordham usually gets that little second win at the start of the second half where they start going for more threes. They try and do a bit more risky shots, but don't fix what's not broken. Right now, this team is doing incredible. They have nothing really to, in my opinion, to worry about if they're handling this well. They have nothing really to change going into the locker room. If I was Coach Magpie, I'd just say keep doing what you're doing, and at most, if anything does change, that's where you have to use your timeouts well. But for now, they don't really need to worry about it.
Well, there's always adjustments you can make, and I feel like as a former player of any sport, like you could always feel like you could always do a little bit better, and you could always do something better. 3-point percentage is something that definitely needs to get better going into half. 2 for 11 is not that good. That's something you want to start to turn around. You want to hit your threes heading into. You're not going to hit everyone, but you want to start hitting your threes. There's some great performances today from Fordham. Reichel 9 points, 4 for 4 and 6 rebounds. That's a very big thing when you can be efficient like that as a big man, and have 4 boards off right out of the gate. You're doing something right. He's made all his shots so far, contributing to Fordham's field goal percentage. Without him, they are 10 for 31. Big part of the reason why the game is going so well. Manhattan 9 for 28, very shocking to see coming into this game. But they have gone to the free throw line 4 times. Fordham has not has 1 for 2, has only gone to the line once, and that's something I feel like in the second half you also want to try to explore more. Try and get to the line more. That's free points. Just go up with contact sometimes.
I remember last time we were talking about basketball, we talked about a bit of foul bait, trying to bait out your opponents, get in their head, make them send you to the free throw line so you get those easy points and just rack them up.
Yeah, Fordham had 6 fouls in the half. The Jaspers committed 2. It does seem like Fordham it is not a comfortable lead yet. It is a 6-point game. Again, Manhattan could get out there and hit 2 threes, and we'll be right back into the game. Like, they're right tied at the game. There hasn't been a lead change yet, which is why the largest lead has been 12, and that's been cut down in half. Manhattan really hasn't had the lead all game, but that is something with some halftime adjustments that can really change for them. So you kind of want to see the Rams play with the lead, like adjust well. We saw it last week where they had the lead where they didn't go as well as we originally hoped. But we're just hoping that they could keep up the momentum and keep up and hopefully win the Battle of the Bronx.
Let's hope for that, Travis.
All right. And I think we have a little bit more time left on this segment, I think. Sam, what are you most looking forward to see in the second half?
I think I want to see this Rose Hill gym become electric. I want to see Fordham. I agree with you. They really should be trying to get those threes in. I think you don't need major adjustments as of now, but maybe some slight tweaks where they're getting those threes in, getting a bigger lead, having that gap become a bit wider. And I think if they start taking a bit more daring shots and getting their threes in, I'm very excited to see that.
Yeah, I know. It looks like the era of Rose Thrill could be coming back today.
I want some Rose Thrill.
Yeah, it wasn't something we were here for, as we heard, but it seems like today, especially, we got to give Fordham credit. How many players did you say were missing? 7 players are missing today from the game. They're playing with an undermanned roster, and everything seems to be going well. That's a little something we need to really credit. We need to credit Coach Magpie for. We need to credit the team. They're staying in there and fighting, especially against the Manhattan team. Where granted, they are 0-5 when they are away. They have not won a home, but we can't let this be the home game they win.
100%. This has to be the time where all these Manhattan fans go back, not happy, seeing the score, again reminded why Fordham won the Battle of the Bronx.
Well, we can't say that right now, because then again, 2 threes can make this cut really quickly. Could change on a dime. It's really interesting how basketball is one of those sports where it can change instantly. You could have a 12-point lead, that at one point, and it evaporates within it could evaporate within a minute and 30 seconds.
The winds always change the basketball.
It's crazy to think. As Ray Allen once did, he did 12 points in 9 seconds to win a game against or not Ray Allen. Tracy McGrady did that against the Spurs. Little mix up. It's been a long day today, but again, like you're never really that safe in basketball unless you have like a 40 point lead. Maybe like 25 is like the limit I'd go.
But even then, I actually remember this was a while ago. I was in Disney World when the Knicks were playing, was it the Jazz, when they had that incredible lead in the first game, and that out of nowhere the Jazz came back and won the game. Do you remember that?
Unfortunately, I do not. But it is a great point to keep in mind that this is only a 6-point game.
Yeah, when you have even with a giant lead, basketball is a game of ticking away. You tick away at that score, you chip in, just keep going at it. Is where the smaller and smaller lead where it becomes realistic.
Yeah, I know. And the one thing the Rams also need to improve on in the second half is cutting down on the turnovers. Manhattan had 4 turnovers in the half, Fordham 8. Some usually again, like, you don't like to see your team having not doing so well in the turnover battle, but it doesn't seem to be affecting how the offense has been playing, especially with efficient games from the majority of your starters.
Yeah, I think we really do need to give credit to this Fordham team where they're not a full roster, they're under men, but the players are stepping up, especially where they have one of their big players out sick right now. The bench is stepping up, getting that rotation in, and being able to come in such a big game, being able to step up for that's very impressive. Yeah,
and then the other thing you have to look at, their leading scorer for Manhattan is Anthony Isaac, and he's coming off the bench. So it looks like when Manhattan is getting into these big scoring endeavors, it's happening because Fordham's getting a little tired because of all the players they're missing.
It's unfortunate.
So, but that is a good thing. It means they just have to keep the foot on the gas pedal as soon as they get out, and it doesn't just extend the lead and make sure that the lead doesn't get cut. Make sure that the lead just doesn't get cut down until it's too far out of reach. I've been Travis Hayden. Sam Giangrande has been here. Derek Bullier, our producer, and we're going to play a couple promos and then send it back to Joe Henry and Tucker Austin. I'm losing it right now. I'm sleep deprived. I just did that 3-hour show.
Want to be part of the Ramley? It all starts here. I'm Nathan Rogers.
And I'm Kate Cox, and we are 2 of your hosts for On the Hill, WFUV's exclusive podcast for all things Fordham athletics.
From the field of Moglia Stadium to the hardwood of the historic Rose Hill Gym, we've got you covered with the ins and outs of Fordham sports.
Every week, every play, every round. Tune in weekly wherever you get your podcasts. This is On the Hill.
Second half, inbound from the Rose Hill Gym. It's the 116th Battle of the Bronx between the Fordham Rams and the Manhattan Jaspers. Joe Henry here with Tucker Austin. Special thanks to Travis Hayden and Sam Giangrande in studio. 31-25, the Fordham lead halfway through. Fordham 6-1 when leading at the half so far this season. But Tucker, what was a 12-point lead, cut in half to make it just 6 points at the break.
Yeah, and that's mostly chalked up to Fordham kind of cooling off offensively at the end of the first half. Manhattan was allowed to sort of work their way back into things. It's interesting to note, though, that despite the fact that Manhattan is coming off of their best rebounding game in terms of both total and defensive rebounds since the first game of the season for them, they have 10 defensive rebounds and 2 offensive rebounds for 12 total tonight so far, but Fordham still well out-rebounding Manhattan despite being on a run of better rebounding work. Fordham with 28 total rebounds, 17 defensively, 11 offensively. Those second chance points, a big reason why Fordham Fordham is still in the lead by 6, but they're going to need a whole bunch more scoring to keep the Jaspers behind in this second half.
The Fordham team that at one point was ranked top 50 in both rebounding categories, still a great offensive rebounding team, top 100 in the nation in offensive rebounding percentage. The defensive rebounding was great versus Holy Cross. It was even better versus FDU. They won the rebounding margin by 15 in that game, but the margin through just half of this one, 28-12, 16 the difference in the rebounding column. And Tucker, as you noted, second chance points 11-4 for Fordham, points in the paint 24-10. That's been the key. And also, how about the interior defense against a Manhattan team shooting just 9 for 28, 32% from the field, 25% from three. The all-around defensive effort to have a team that averages 80 points per game on pace to score just 50 is the number one positive for Fordham from the first half.
Yeah, Fordham's defensive performance so far has been nothing short of ideal. Abbas Bodija has looked good underneath. Rika Schulte has been imposing his will as well underneath, despite a couple of players on this Manhattan team having a bit more size on him. Akira Jacobs also has been doing a good job in terms of the rebounding. Maybe not so much with the shooting, but that ought to come around here in the second half. Fordham just really needs to put together a strong opening 5 minutes of this half to reestablish their lead and put Manhattan back at significant enough of a disadvantage where they can try to coast to the finish again. However, I would warn that Fordham's defense eased up tremendously at the end of, during the second half against FDU. It kind of allowed FDU to score a bunch of points in that second half, almost as many points as the Rams did in that game. Something that the Rams cannot afford to do whatsoever today. If they let off the gas even for a minute or two in this second half, Manhattan could wind up with the lead, and Fordham could be the ones trying to battle back in.
Yeah, the trend, for whatever reason so far this season, is that teams score more in the second half when Fordham is playing. Fordham scores more in the second half. Their opponents score more in the second half. The first half is kind of a settling in phase, and then you have kind of an offensive explosion for the latter 20 minutes. We'll see what we have here as we're back underway for half number 2 of iteration 116 of the Battle of the Bronx. Manhattan to start on the right wing. It's Winston. Gives it up Dinkins, top of the key. Steps inside. Deep 2 is good.
It's a really good opening shot selection for Devin Dinkins, the redshirt junior guard from Washington, D.C. Gets the Jaspers on the board first in the second half.
Dinkins, a George Mason transfer, has been in Manhattan for a couple years now and has the Jaspers within just 4. First offensive possession for the Rams. Moving left to right. Reeves, right wing. Kicks it near side corner of Core. Back to Reeves at the logo. Swings it left side, Henry. Henry, a fadeaway on the left side. Baseline, he drilled it from 12 feet out.
That looked really calm and collected by Christian Henry, answering Devin Dinkins. Could be in for a high-scoring second half if things continue the way they've gone so far.
Lead back up to 6 for Fordham. Just over a minute elapsed in half number 2. Inside Roxborough working on a Core, puts up the layup and gets it to go.
Tough position there for a Core, but think if you're thinking about the stretch run in this game, Coach Magpaio is happy with a Core giving up the bucket and not committing the foul.
Reeves the other way at the right elbow, dishes off to Schulte, wide open for the layup, and these teams are perfect from the field in the second half.
Double digits now for Schulte, 5 for 5 from the floor for 11 points, 6 rebounds and an assist, filling it up tonight and on his way towards another double-double.
35-29 the Fordham lead, 18-15 to go in regulation. Oliver Bush, no-look pass to the nail where Lubicic drills a left elbow too.
Lubicic, the leading field goal shooter on this Manhattan team at 54% this season, showing why he's so good when he pulls up in the paint.
Lubicic had 11 against Marist, including 3 made threes. That was a career high for him. Fordham the other way, up by 4. Reeves on the left side, driving baseline, kicking it back out, where Jacobs has it on the left wing. Just 5 on the shot clock now for a Core. At the right wing, steps into a deep 3 and missed it off the back of the iron. Fight for the rebound, last touch by Fordham.
Looked pretty close there between Akira Jacobs and Fraser Roxborough. Almost like Akira Jacobs had tipped the ball off of Roxborough's hand and out of bounds, but the call goes against the Fordham Rams. Manhattan still within 4. There's been scoring by both teams so far, but Manhattan has closed the gap just that little bit more.
Manhattan a chance to make it a one-possession game here with 17:30 left to go. Dinkins gives it up to Winston, top of the key. Left wing Roxborough. Back to Winston, loses the ball out of bounds, a turnover, and Fordham will have it.
Big for the Rams if they can close this turnover margin a little bit more. Right now the Rams have 8 turnovers, Manhattan with 4. Fordham wants to kind of remedy that so that they can try and extend the lead.
Yeah, Reeves with 3, Henry with 3. Reeves has 4+ turnovers in 4 of his last 5 games. That's been a bugaboo for the Rams point guard. Jacobs inside, high-low game, has his pass picked off to Schulte. Winston the other way, working on Reeves, left side layup, no good, too strong, rebound Jacobs.
Going straight up, Jacobs among several bodies looking for that rebound, but Jacobs, a nice job. Good hand-eye coordination to come down with that board.
Still a 4-point game, 35-31, 16:45 left to go. Schulte on the right side, low block, bodying up Roxborough. Schulte shakes, steps through, and hits the 2.
That's professional level footwork from Rika Schulte inside, Joe, to shake off the defender and open yourself a lane on the right side for the easy layup.
He's 6 for 6 from the field so far, and he's leading all Fordham scorers with 13.
Leading all scorers in the game.
Foul called against Kingston Price, who's checked back into the game, his 3rd now in a short period of time. No, yeah, they are going to call it against Price, and it will stay with Manhattan on the baseline, and Price is going to have to check right back out.
That's really rough for the Rams. Coach Magpio's trying to get his best players a bit of a breather there, but Kingston Price comes in and picks up a 3rd foul in this game now. He's in foul trouble, and Coach is going to have one less option to get his guys some rest.
37-31, the Fordham lead, 16-16 left to go. Anthony Isaac checked in for Manhattan. Dinkins steps inside, deep 2, nearly airballed it. Too strong, rebound Bodija. Reeves the other way, streaking inside with the left-hand dribble, stepping back and hitting the 10-foot fadeaway.
Day-Day from the elbow. All day long, Day-Day Reeves is going to have that shot if he can get there. Fordham back out in front by 8.
Day-Day Reeves has the Rams lead back up to 8. Dinkins tries from way downtown and cashes in to make it 5.
Dinkins' second three-pointer of the game. He's now 2 for 4, up to 8 points. Tied with Anthony Isaac for the leading scorer on the Jaspers.
Dinkins, the MAC 6th man of the year last year. Henry streaking inside on the left side and gets fouled on a hop step attempt.
Dinkins also leads the Jaspers in assists this year with 31, a team that doesn't really rack up too many assists. Dinkins still finding a way to distribute the ball while still being an excellent scoring threat.
Manhattan punches first in the second half, but Fordham punches right back. It's a 5-point game as it stands, 39-34, with 15-31 separating us from victor and loser. In addition, 116 of the Battle of the Bronx will step aside for just a moment. You're listening to Fordham men's basketball on WFUV Sports.
Hey everyone, it's Lydia Perner.
And Grace McCarran.
And we are 2 of your hosts for 5 on 3.
WFUV's best, if only, hockey podcast.
With all the storylines in the tri-state area, you won't want to miss an episode.
How will Matthew Schaefer fit in with the Islanders?
And will the Rangers have a bounce-back season under Mike Sullivan?
Finally, will the Devils be able to stay healthy and hit their full potential?
Stick with us all season for all things NHL and Will Cooley updates on WFUV Sports.
And we're back to play here in the Bronx for the Battle of the Bronx. Year 114 of one of the most storied rivalries in college hoops. Fordham and Manhattan, the Rams leading the Jaspers 39-34 with 15:31 left to go in regulation. Joe Henry here with Tucker Austin. And Tucker, it's been a back and forth second half. Both of these teams have been much more efficient from the field so far. Manhattan 4 for 6, Fordham 4 for 5. As it stands, just 5 points separate these two teams.
Yeah, it's definitely looking like this game will bear much of the complexion that last year's game bore. 78-76, Manhattan got the win in the Draddy Gymnasium. This year, it's just about as close, despite the last time that Manhattan came to this gym to play the Fordham Rams in men's basketball. That ended very badly for the Jaspers. November of 2023, Fordham won 93-61, but since then, in the last 2 years, it's been a much tighter contest. This one should go down to the wire. I want to take a look specifically at Manhattan's bench points right now, because Fordham is so hobbled by their injuries and by their players who are unavailable today that they've dipped into just almost the same number of players as Manhattan has, but they've also gone to Kingston Price and Jamison O'Toole, two guys who do not get a lot of minutes. Meanwhile, Manhattan has been running their pretty standard 7-man rotation. They've gotten 11 points off their bench to Fordham's 4, and it's likely what's keeping Manhattan so close in this game so far, although they will continue to rely on their starters and their main guys to get a lot of their scoring.
Back to play, Fordham by 5 with the ball. Reeves on the left elbow, curling off the screen set by Schulte, kicks it out to Henry, and his right elbow turnaround two is cash.
The little spin for Christian Henry. He didn't have room, so he made some. He got up, and he put the jumper through from the right elbow.
Rams by 7, 41-34, 15-10 left to go. Dinkins lobs a pass, left elbow for Isaac, the leading scorer for Manhattan. Bodies up his defender and puts it in for 2. They're going to overturn the original call. It's a charge, and it's going Fordham's way.
John Gallagher just blew a gasket on the sideline for Manhattan. He was about 5 feet out onto the floor screaming at the referee over that call. Certainly not to his liking. Fordham with the turnover.
Offensive foul committed by Anthony Isaac, who's up to 8 points off the bench for Manhattan. You talked about that second unit for the Jaspers being their usual group versus Fordham. So depleted, they're dipping into the reserves. Fordham by 7 with the ball, 14:45 left to go. Henry lobs a pass at the nail. Bodija, a couple steps inside and hits on the hook shot. Abbas Bodija has 6 points.
That's all he's got to do. Sometimes, Joe, Abbas Bodija just has to remember that he's 6'10", and he's taller than most of the guys out there on the floor.
Reeves whistled for a foul on the other end, trying to reach in. The ball was picked away by Henry off of the tip. Fordham would have been out and going, but instead, foul given.
Bodija makes some of these buckets just look so easy, Joe, especially for a redshirt freshman. It's not the kind of discipline that you would expect out of such a young player, but he really knows. Sometimes when it clicks, he knows exactly how much size he has on his opponent and how easy he can go up to the rim.
Dinkins off the inbound left wing triple is no good. Rebound Fordham.
Let's go!
Manhattan just 4 for 14 from distance. Here's Henry. His try is good. From the top of the key for 3.
Massive 3 for the Fordham Rams there. They're back to a double-digit lead. This is exactly the jaw punch that I was expecting them to throw at the start of the second half.
Roxborough inside, takes some contact, puts up a wild flip shot, no good. Schulte the rebound. He got tripped to the floor as he made a beautiful outlet pass to Reeves. Stopped what would have been a fast break, but nonetheless another stop for Fordham. And the Rams, suddenly up by 12, have the ball.
And Anthony Isaac picks up his second personal foul of the game so far. One of the 2 leading scorers for this Jaspers team, and something that we talked about at the start of this game. Fouls could come into play late, and if Manhattan were to lose Isaac, that's one of their main sources of points in this one.
Reeves off the inbound, coast to coast, hitting the deck, but not before he hit the layup to put the Rams up by 14, their biggest lead of the day.
The Rams putting on a clinic on the offensive end in this segment of the second half. There's a foul there on the floor. Fordham on a 9-0 run in the last 2 minutes and 6 seconds, 13-3 in the last 4 minutes 30. They're 8 of their last 9 from the floor. Fordham lights out to start this second half, and exactly what they needed to get that safe distance away from the Jaspers.
The foul goes against Kingston Price. Guess who? He's got 4 fouls and needs to check out once more. Winston cutting inside, missing on the floater, getting his own miss, putting it back up and in, plus the foul from Schulte. A much-needed jolt from Manhattan to cut the deficit to 12.
And the reaction from the Fordham bench was almost identical for every single coach. It was almost as if all of them flinched pretty much at the exact same time when that shot went down. Not what they were looking for, but it was Derek Phelps, I believe, the assistant coach, who was talking to Kingston Price, trying to calm him down a little bit. He's 1 foul. from spending the rest of this one on the bench.
Winston connects on the end one, makes it an 11-point game. Tucker, this is the inflection point where Fordham has won and lost games this season. How many times have they been up by 10 to 15 points with about 12 or 13 minutes left, and either the game ends in a 20-point win or it ends in a 1 or 2 point loss? They can't afford the latter here after blowing a lead 1 week ago today to Holy Cross.
Full court press from the Jaspers.
Broken decently well by Fordham. Henry tied up, but able to make an over-the-head pass to Jacobs. Now to Schulte. Lob up to Bodija, who flushes it down.
I've seen a connection between Bodija and Schulte. Now we get Schulte to Bodija. Air Abbas as he throws that one down. 50-37, the lead for the Rams.
Air Abbas as the Fordham lead back to 13. Defense chants echoing throughout Rose Hill. Lubicic, right elbow J is good.
Gets that answer, so crucial after an emphatic dunk play. As we've spoken about in this game so far, Lubicic getting the bucket that Manhattan needed there to calm some of this momentum. Fordham still way out in front now.
Lead back to 11. Henry takes a hit to a bad spot. Goes curling towards the ground and a foul called.
Eric Oliver Bush. His reaction was very funny, Joe. He just kind of had this smirk on his face because I think he knows that he caught Henry in the groin area as he heads to the bench. Both teams head to the bench. Christian Henry walking a little gingerly, but something that he should be able to shake off.
Henry has taken more blows to just about any body part you could imagine this year than any other Fordham player. He's been battered and bruised, but he's also been this team's Iron Man at points. He's got 24 minutes so far. Only 27 minutes have been played in this game. He's been the guy in the backcourt along Day Reeves to help engineer Fordham to the season it's had so far. Both of them have 11. Rika Schulte has 13 to lead all scorers, and Fordham is up by 13. They've hit 9 of their last 10 from the field, Tuck.
3 players now into double digits, Joe, very sneakily so. We almost didn't notice that the other players, other than Rika Schulte, got into double digits, but you mentioned Reeves is up to 11, Christian Henry's up to 11. As a team now, the Rams shooting 23 of 45, worth 51%. That's a much improved number from the floor. Abbas Bodija up to 8 points now. He is the last of the 4 players from the FDU game who all scored in double figures. So a bit of consistency showing here from this Fordham team as well, despite missing as many of the players as they are.
Absolutely. Fordham 90% from the field to start half number 2. They've already got 19 points. They only had 31 in the entire first 20 minutes of play. So they're up 50-39 with 12:47 left to go. Plus the ball, it'll be a near side inbound on the side for Fordham in the half court. They went to the monitor for a brief review. They called it just a common foul against Oliver Bush on Chris Henry. So Fordham with it. On the left wing, it's Reeves. Tied up, loses his dribble, kicks out to a curling Henry. His tree is good.
Another triple for Christian Henry as he continues to heat up in this second half and give Fordham more of a cushion.
Oliver Bush, right side baseline, gets caught up for a violation, and Fordham has it the other way, up by 14, a chance to add to what's their biggest lead of the day.
7th turnover of the ball game now for Manhattan as that margin of turnovers starts to slowly close. Fordham still has only turned the ball over 9 times, and Manhattan is starting to shoot themselves in the foot more and more in this second half.
And Manhattan up to 7 giveaways now. Reeves running the 2-man game with Schulte, brushes him off now at the left wing. Couple dribble moves on the bigger Lubicic, steps through at the right elbow, can't connect on the floater, gets his own miss. New 20 for Fordham. Left wing, Henry, 3, no good. Rebound off the right of the iron, tracked down by Oliver Bush.
Fordham almost had a trap on Oliver Bush in the corner with Schulte and Reeves, but he managed to break out of it.
Winston the other way, hop step, gives it up. Oliver Bush, left wing try, in and out. Rebound Henry. Manhattan just 4 of 16 from distance. Reeves the other way, left elbow, pulls for 2. Nothing but nylon for Day Reeves, and Fordham has a 16-point lead.
More of the same, more of what we've come to expect out of Day Reeves in this one. He's just so good from just inside the 3-point line near the elbows.
Oliver Bush taking his frustration out on Rika Schulte as he drives to the cup and finishes through contact for 2. 14-point game.
I was going to mention on the possession before that, the wide open three for Oliver Bush. It's one Fordham is willing to let him take. He's only 2 for 9 on the entire season from beyond the arc this year.
Schulte, high-low game, finds a cutting Bodija for another easy score. The front court building some chemistry for Fordham, back up by 16, 57-41.
And double digits now for Bodija as well. 10 points on 5 for 7 shooting for the redshirt freshman.
10:50 left to go, 57-41, the Fordham lead. Terrence Jones has been quiet. He steps back for a left elbow jumper. He missed it. The rebound to Rikas Schulte.
And I believe they're going to call a foul there. I think it's against Akira Jacobs.
It is against Jacobs. It's a common foul. It's Fordham's 4th foul of the second half. Manhattan has 4 as well. And Jacobs, who didn't even snare the rebound, his whistle there. It earns Manhattan a free possession off what was an uncontested defensive board for Rikas Schulte.
Luckily, only his first of the game, though. First personal foul. Fordham up to 11 as a team now. Both squads in the bonus. But Fordham, despite having as many personal fouls as they have, they're spreading them out pretty well. Aside from Kingston Price, assuming 4 of Fordham's 11, it's 2 for Schulte and 2 for Reeves, 1 for everybody else except for Abbas Bodija and Jamison O'Toole. So they're in a really comfortable spot in terms of the fouls, especially if they want to start intentionally fouling Manhattan later on in this half when they're trying to work back into the game with 3-pointers.
Fordham up 57-41 at the under 12 stoppage here in half number 2. 10:45 left to go as the Rams have a 16-point lead, their biggest of the day. Over in the Rose Hill Studios, Sam Giangrande has your one-on-one scoreboard update.
The one-on-one scoreboard.
Hello, New York City. Hope all is well. Let's look at some college hoops in the NBA. Old Dominion lost to George Mason in Virginia, score being 61-73. GW takes on the University of Florida down in the Sunshine State, with the score being 13-14 for the Gators, but it's a tight game as of right now. Then at 4 p.m., La Salle will take on LIU in Brooklyn. Moving towards the NBA, the Eastern semifinal of the NBA Cup will be held in Las Vegas, with the Knicks taking on the Magic. While in the West, also in Nevada, the Spurs taking on the reigning NBA champions, the Thunder, for the Western semifinal. Tomorrow in Brooklyn, the Bucks will play the Nets at the Barclays Center. A quick look across the Atlantic Ocean, the English Premier League had some major matchups, with Chelsea beating Everton 2-0, with a classic Cole Palmer goal to electrify Stamford Bridge. Then Liverpool beat Brighton 2-0, the Hugo Ekitike brace, giving Anfield a sign of relief. And as of right now, Arsenal are playing Wolves at the Emirates Stadium. I'm Sam Giangrande with the one-on-one scoreboard update. Come on, Fordham.
Thank you very much, Sam. We resume play from Rose Hill. Joe Henry here with Tucker Austin. Fordham leading 57-41 with 10:45 left to go. But as I said, Tucker, this is the point in a game where Fordham has either won or lost. Do you keep your foot on the pedal or do you let off? We saw the latter 1 week ago today against Holy Cross, a blown 16-point lead at this exact mark in the game. We saw the opposite against FDU, a 15-20-point lead with 12 minutes to go, and that was the final score, a 21-point win. The question, can Fordham hang on here? Manhattan with the ball on the right side baseline inbounds out of the break. Winston has it off of the inbound left wing, curling towards his right. Drives left side on Reeves, puts up a deep floater from the left elbow, no good. Rebound controlled by Jacobs.
And that was the exact floater that Winston started trying to get to go in the first half when Manhattan closed the gap the first time. This time it doesn't go. If Fordham can shut him down, they could stop the entire run back in its tracks.
Bodija, near side, low block, moving towards the center of the floor and putting up a lefty hook shot to go. Everything working for Abbas Bodija.
Man, Bodija just looks so refined in this game. All night he's been calm in his matchups, calm under the basket.
Dinkins driving left baseline, missed the reverse layup. Fordham moving with some pace and transition. Chris Henry.
Bodija the rebound.
Bodija doing a little bit of everything. His career high is 15. He's already got 12 on 6 of 8 shooting. Henry waiting on the left side of the floor. Couple dribble moves on his defender, Roxborough. Henry with 12. Dribble drive, right side, hangs up and hits the floater. Chris Henry is taking over in the second half. He's got 14. Make it 16, Tucker. Fordham by 20, 61-41. Biggest lead of the day with 9:21 left to go. Roar Core called for an on-the-ball foul at the top of the key. Fordham's 6th will put Manhattan in the bonus for the rest of the way.
Christian Henry is continuing his torrent run of games. Mentioned earlier, he scored 18.8 points per game in his last 4. Now up to 16 and about a match his last 4-game average in tonight's game.
Henry, Price, Jacobs, Schulte, Bodija, the 5 for Fordham. Roar Core just had to check out prematurely due to cramps, we believe. He dealt with cramps in the FDU game around this time as well as he hits the trainer's table for the Rams. Dinkins, Winston, Jones, Oliver Bush, and Roxborough, the 5 for Manhattan. Ball in on the far side, side out inbound to Terrence Jones on the left wing. He misses on the 3 off the front of the iron, and Fordham's defense has really held strong for some time now.
Another rebound for Akira Jacobs, his 9th to lead the Fordham Rams.
Manhattan scoreless through the last 2 minutes and 30 seconds of play. 61-41 Fordham, 8:55 to go. Henry off of a screen, drills a 3 from the top of the key.
Christian Henry is absolutely lights out. There may be no stopping him in the rest of this one.
Rams by 23. The crowd quieted momentarily by a floater from Jaden Winston on the left side to make it just 21. But a 21-point lead for the Fordham Rams matches their winning total against FDU in the margin of that game. And Fordham has seized control in the past few minutes of play, Tuck.
Yeah, Jaden Winston absolutely needed that one to go to get a score before a timeout and at least feel a little bit better about themselves. But Manhattan has fallen deep into the hole now, even deeper than they were in that first half with less time on the clock now. Coach Magpio talked to us pregame. He said that it's not about the fight anymore. This Rams team knows that they have to fight game in and game out. Now it's about finishing. Can the Rams finish? And Magpio said it multiple times. He said finish, 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 finish. He harped on it so much, and it's clear that he harped on it with his guys this week in practice because the Rams are doing everything in their power right now to put the Jaspers away.
It's been an unlikely combo offensively in the second half. How about Chris Henry and Abbas Bodija leading the way through the final period of play? Henry up to 19 points, the second highest total for him this season, I believe. Count 29 against UAlbany. That was the number 1 total. 8 for 14 from the field, 3 for 6 from 3. He's doing it in a variety of ways. Not to mention, Tuck, 5 rebounds, 5 assists for the guy who leads the entire A-10 in assists per game, and 2 steals. Meanwhile, Abbas Bodija, the redshirt freshman, he said coming over from UC Riverside to Fordham to join Mike Magpio in this program was, quote, a no-brainer. And he's showing signs of development here as we barrel towards conference play. He's got 12 points on 6 of 8 shooting, 4 rebounds, add on a couple assists. Fordham is getting the answers it needs while shorthanded. And for a team that has only 7 healthy scholarship players, and one of those players is in deep foul trouble, you have to be happy with Wayarette up 21 against a bitter rival with just 8:38 to play.
Yeah, and Abbas has tied his season high for field goals made now this season with those 6, so one more will be the most field goals that he's made in a game so far. Still chasing that season high in points with 15, but he's right in that realm. And Manhattan is a team that doesn't foul a lot, but they're likely going to have to start fouling Fordham much, much more as this game goes on. Bodija is usually a player that opposing teams tend to target when it comes to intentional fouling and sending players to the line. So he could see his point total balloon a little bit if he can knock down some free throws late in this one, or honestly, if he keeps just dominating in the paint the way that he is, because he is using every bit of his 6'10" frame to purely just make everybody else on the floor look small. He goes up so easy to the rim every single time that he does, and it's almost impossible for these Manhattan players to get up and block him.
Full court press look from Manhattan out of the break. Chris Henry stepped on the baseline as he tried to make the inbound. He was running the baseline as he's allowed to do on an inbound, but he stepped on the baseline. A very bizarre violation from Chris Henry, his 4th turnover. Fordham by 21, but a crucial period here to put the finishing touches on. Dinkins off the left side inbound. Baseline jumper, no good. Rebound Bodija. Kingston Price checked back in for Fordham, giving Day-Day Reeves a breather. Reminder, Price has 4 fouls. Henry top of the key. Defended tightly by Oliver Bush. Gets by him, dribble drive the right side, puts up the layup, misses it off the back of the iron. Rebound Jones. Manhattan the other way. Down 21, need to move fast here. Jones, a step back deep too, no good. Rebound Bodija. Just bad shot selection. A couple deep twos from Manhattan out of the break. I think Fordham lives with the result no matter what there.
Yeah, Fordham's going to take bad shot selection all day long, especially with a lead as big as it is.
Manhattan shooting just 35% from the field as Fordham has it the other way, up by 21. Bodija streaking through the lane, puts up a hook shot, and he got fouled, so he's going to the line for 2. You said it, Tuck. Bodija, with his level of aggressiveness, has a chance to really pad his points total here. If he keeps being aggressive on the interior, this time draws a shooting foul. It's Manhattan's 5th, so Fordham will be in the bonus after the next foul committed by the Jaspers.
I was about to say, Joe, so it begins. Our many likely trips to the free throw line as this game winds to the finish. Got 7:46 left on the clock, and Fordham has done a perfect job rebuilding and then extending beyond their original lead in this second half. Doing a good job putting away Manhattan, but the job is far from finished in this one.
Well, Fordham up by 21, 64-43. That brings us to the under 8 media timeout. There's 7:46 left to go. We'll be right back with more Fordham men's basketball on WFUV Sports.
I'm Kurt Sippel, telling you to tune into One on One, New York's longest-running sports call-in show. Catch us live every Saturday on our WFUV Sports YouTube Live from 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. and later on 90.7 WFUV from 11 p.m. to 2 a.m. We break down the week's latest headlines with our collection of tri-state area beat reporters, along with interviews with your favorite athletes and media personalities. WFUV is your home to talk all things New York sports.
Year 114 of one of the best rivalries in the college sports atmosphere, and it finds its home here in the Rose Hill Gym, of course in the Bronx, New York, as it's Fordham University and Manhattan University dueling here in a non-conference showdown as we draw nearer to conference play. Joe Henry here with Tucker Austin, and Fordham up 64-43. They continue to pull away here in the second half. Now just 7 minutes and 46 seconds separating them from a second straight win.
Notably, Joe Roracor seems to be back from his treatment. He'll likely go back into the game for the Rams. He's only got 2 points in this one on 1 of 7 from the floor, 0 for 4 from beyond the arc. He has pulled down 8 rebounds, tossing an assist and a block to boot. Only Ram with a block in this game so far, which is really odd considering how well that the Fordham defense has been playing. Still, not as many blocks as you would expect out of this squad, and both teams have 4 steals apiece. So defensively, a lot of things happening that don't wind up on the score sheet, but Fordham, still, I think their defense is a large part of why they have such a lead as they do.
The field goal percentage, probably the best statistic to look at, 35.4% on the game from Manhattan. It has been bad as Bodija takes and makes his first of 2 at the stripe. The Brisbane, Australia native, 13 for 18 at the line so far this season. Again, Fordham looking for answers in place of Marcus Green, who was a late scratch today with food poisoning. So a very short-handed Rams team already without Ryan Pettis and Jack Whitbourne, not to mention Louis Lesmond, their starting small forward, out with a back injury. Have found a way to get it done short-handed so far. Bodija makes them both 66-43, 7:35 left to go. Winston, left wing, pulls the trigger, is short on a three. Good defense by Henry.
Joe, another miss for Manhattan. If the numbers hold as they are right now, this will be their worst shooting performance by percentage from the floor of the season.
Interior, exterior, it hasn't worked for him. 34.7% now from the field and just 23.5 from distance. Chris Henry, he's been efficient. Lobs a pass inside. Near side low block Schulte. Schulte nearly loses it. Retrieves it, streaking through the lane. Lefty hook shot. It doesn't matter what he does. It's going to end up with 2 points. He's 7 for 7 from the field and up to 15 now as the Fordham lead hits 25.
6-foot Jaden Winston, 6'5" Eric Oliver Bush are no match for the 6'9" Rikus Schulte underneath the basket.
Dinkins knifing through the lane, finds Watson, a hop step inside, kicks it out. Oliver Bush on the right side, baseline, spinning on Bodija, kicks it to a cutting Isaac, who hits the layup. Best offensive possession for Manhattan in some time.
That's Isaac's first points in some time as well. He had 8 for a majority of this second half. He had an excellent first half out of the gate, but since then, very quiet. Now he leads the Jaspers in scoring once again with 10.
68-45 Fordham. 6:15 left to go. Bodija tries to do it himself, streaking inside as the ball stripped away. As Chris Henry just drew a charge at half court. No, they're going to overturn it. Or rather, they're going to call a blocking foul on the floor. Man, he was set for a long time at the logo. And Anthony Isaac, who was looking up for an outlet as he drove up the floor, barreled through Henry, put him to the floor, and somehow it's a blocking foul that will result in a 1-on-1 situation for Manhattan.
Joe, that's one of the more questionable ones I think I've seen. Christian Henry was standing at half court like a statue for at least 4 or 5 seconds before contact was made there. Henry hits the floor. I think he may have only called that a blocking foul because of how obviously Christian Henry was baiting the charge, but a charge is a charge. If you bait the charge and draw the charge, they should call the charge.
He's smirking, talking to the near side official right now. He's not going to get any favors with the whistle with the Rams up by 23 as Isaac hits on the first and earns a second. Will quiet a crowd hungry for Chick-fil-A. Free Chick-fil-A upon 2 missed free throws for the opposing team. We saw it happen against FDU. That's a big deal here.
It's everybody else in attendance. Any students who came to today's game got a Chick-fil-A sandwich just for showing up, Joe.
Just for showing up, Tuck. Isn't it nice? Isaac hits on a second, makes it a 21-point game, 68-47, 6 minutes and 5 seconds left to go. Reeves guarded somewhat tightly by Dinkins, but gets it across the timeline.
This is the part of the game where Fordham can really look to make a statement. If you really start dumping points on Manhattan's head.
That'll help. Reeves streaking down the left side of the floor with some English off the glass out of the left hand to extend the lead to 23.
Right on cue, Fordham up to 70 points now. The more that they rack up against this Jaspers team, the better this win is going to look.
Isaac on the interior, kicks out to Watson, hop step inside, misses on the floater, rebound Schulte. Ball's knifed away from Watson, tries to save it. His pass went through Schulte's legs, but ended up being retrieved by the German big man, who then takes a foul. And after all of that, Fordham will retain possession.
Still 5.5 minutes left in this one, and this Manhattan team is not to be underestimated. They could very easily start to find their groove again on the offensive end, but Fordham's defense still holding very strong and forcing looks that they don't necessarily want to take down by this many.
Manhattan starting to wave a white flag of sorts. Ron Elliott into the game. Azir Miguel ready to check in as well. He's a reserve option. Reeves with it on the right wing. He'll pull a three and bury it. Day-Day Reeves.
Both of them are freshmen as well, Joe, so Manhattan's starting to look to the younger guys to maybe get some looks here as Day-Day hits a big one.
Can we call it a Day-Day dagger?
There's still 5 minutes left in this one, Joe.
But the Rams are up by 26.
Definitely feels like it.
Biggest lead so far today, 73-47, and what is a feel-good win for Fordham a week ago, heartbreak. A blown 16-point lead, a blown 12-point lead with just 4 minutes left against an inferior opponent in Holy Cross. You put together a complete win on Wednesday against FDU, but the question, as it's been all season long, can you keep that going and string together 2 full 40-minute efforts? And through 35 minutes, they've done just that.
Absolutely, Joe. And I now look a bit foolish now because I expected this game to be a lot tighter in this second half, considering the way that the first half went and the way that last year's game went. But I was clearly mistaken, and I should have known because of how different this Fordham team and really this Manhattan team are compared this year to last year. This looking a lot more like that game in 2023 right here in the Rose Hill Gym.
Absolutely. So Karan Elliott checked in for Manhattan. The junior guard lobs a pass inside to Anthony Isaac. Working on Schulte is blocked, but a foul called. As Isaac, who as you said has been pretty quiet in this second half, will get to the stripe. He's starting to heat up again.
Yeah, but if you look at the battle between Isaac when he's in the game and Rika Schulte for the Rams, and Schulte has absolutely had the better of Isaac in this game so far. Schulte still perfect from the floor. 15 points, 7 of 7 from the floor, 1 of 2 from the stripe, 8 rebounds, 3 assists, and a steal. Meanwhile, for Isaac, it's 12 points on 3 of 5 shooting, 7 for 7 now from the stripe, looking to make it 8 of 8.
Yeah, amazingly, neither team has really taken a lot of free throws, save for Anthony Isaac, who drills both of them to make it a 23-point game again, 73-50.
Yeah, Fordham as a team 3 of 4 from the charity stripe. Isaac has taken 8 of Manhattan's 9 free throws in this game.
Score correction, 73-49 off the 2 makes from Isaac. Fordham trying to put the finishing touches on this one with 4:40 left to go. Reeves on the left side, working on Elliott. Takes a left side screen from Schulte. Gives it up to Jacobs above the break. Right side, Henry. Henry with 10 to go. Henry, between the legs dribble, behind the back, working on his defender, pulls up for 3. Missed it on the air ball. Rebound Reeves. They're going to reset the shot clock. Must have skimmed the rim as Reeves has it on the near side and will reset for Fordham. Content to chew some clock here, up by 24 with 4:10 to go. Reeves, dribble drive the left side, gets tied up, spins, misses on the 10-foot fadeaway.
I'm not going to lie, Joe, I don't know if that first miss from Christian Henry actually hit the rim or not, but smart play by Day Reeves to be cruising under the baseline to pick that one up.
Dinkins the other way, a hop step inside, misses, but the follow is good from Isaac, who's quietly up to 16 points on an 8-point outburst. Rams still up by 21, 73-51, 3:40 left to go. Henry lobs a pass inside to a cutting Schulte, who's wide open for the finish. Reeves wreaking havoc on the inbound play. It will stay with Manhattan, but with the Rams up by 24. That play from Day Reeves, that level of intensity off of an inbound, pressing in the full court, tells you everything you need to know about the moxie that Fordham entered this rivalry matchup with.
Anthony Isaac now for Manhattan. 16 points in the game, 3 rebounds. His point total just 1 short of his season high that came against Hawaii on November 14th of 17. In that game, he was just 1 for 3 on free throws, though. In tonight's game, of course, he's 8 of 8, so a majority of his points, really half of his points, coming from the free throw line, and just 1 bucket away from cracking his season high.
Yeah, it would be a career high at the Division I level for Isaac, who spent 2 years at Berlin College, a JUCO school, but it might be too little, too late. 75-51 as teams huddle with 3:33 left to go. We're going to send it over one more time to Sam Giangrande, who has a one-on-one scoreboard update.
The one-on-one scoreboard.
Hello, New York City. Make sure you salt your driveways today since we are expecting a bit of light snow tonight. But let's take a glimpse into some Sunday football. The Giants will host the Commanders at MetLife Stadium at 1 p.m. with tickets at only $8. Yes, you heard me right. 8 big ones. Some hot dogs are more expensive. So if you want to watch the Giants at MetLife, now is the time. But if you don't, I don't blame you. Also at 1 p.m., the Jets will travel to North Florida to take on the Jaguars. The Jets with little to prove, and the Jags leading their division. A mini Super Bowl game at 1 p.m. The Bills travel to Foxborough to take on the Patriots. Josh Allen versus Drake May, a game everyone wants to see. At 4:30, the Panthers travel to New Orleans to take on the Saints, with the Panthers leading the NFC South for the first time since 2015 when they went to the Super Bowl. At the same time, the more important game, though, is across the country. We see the Lions take on the Rams at SoFi Stadium. At 4:30, the whole country will be watching the double revenge game in California. It will be electric. Then we see John Cena's final WWE match, which will be held at the Capital One Arena in our nation's capital of Washington, D.C. I'm Sam Giangrande with the one-on-one scoreboard update. Let's go, Fordham!
Thank you, Sam. Joe Henry, Tucker Austin, back on site at the Rose Hill Gym, where Fordham has a 24-point lead, make it 26 off the inbound with Rikas Schulte finishing off a lefty leg.
What a move by Rikas Schulte, really showing his maturity under the basket with the pump fake and the step through to the reverse. English off the glass, and he gets it to go.
Azir Miguel off back iron checked into the game on a near side three as Fordham up by 26. Can start to ease up a little bit, something they haven't been able to do all that much against D1 opposition this year. Akor check back into the game, far side corner, dishes it out to Reeves. Reeves content to take his time. He'll step back for three, misses off the front of the iron, rebounds Schulte, who puts it back up and in, and gives a two-armed flex to his teammates. That's indicative of what this game has looked like. And the human victory flags are out. Aiden Crotty, Max Miller, Jamison O'Toole, and Kingston Price are going to check in this game with Fordham up by 28 on a feel-good Saturday during finals season. Fans rewarded for coming out and taking a study break as Day-Day Reeves drives in on the right side. 2:11 left to go. Rams up 79-51. Henry steadies himself at the right wing. Henry driving inside, kicks it out right wing, curling. Jacobs, three is good. Everything falling for Fordham. A 31-point lead, their biggest all season against a D1 opponent.
Rikas Schulte got his double-double officially. He's now at 21 points on 10 of 10 from the floor. Joey hasn't missed a shot except for one from the free throw line. 10 boards, 3 assists, a steal, a block. In 32 minutes of game time, Rikas Schulte absolutely took over this game, but it's been a real team effort today from the Rams.
And a simply awesome 5 on the floor for Fordham as the Rams force a turnover. And this place gets a little loud. It's Chris Henry, Jamison O'Toole, Kingston O'Price, Max Miller, and Aiden Crotty. 5 guards on the floor. Only 2 of them are scholarship players. And they're going to play out the last 90 seconds here from Rose Hill, up by 31. Crotty, hand off Price. Price behind the back dribble. 8 on the shot clock. Knifes inside. Has a shot blocked at the rim. Elliott working the other way. These guys getting a few possessions here to showcase their skills in front of the crowd. As Elliott finishes with the left hand, makes it a 29-point game. 1:08 left to go. 82-53. Henry, no-look dish. Crotty, he's been hot from 3 when he's got in this season. Loses the ball, recovered by Price. He cuts inside, misses on the layup. Rebound batted out by Manhattan. It's going to stay with Fordham. So another chance for a shot here with 55.5 to go.
A couple of pretty good looks for this group for the Rams too, Joe. I mean, that move from Kingston Price, he got blocked at the rim, sure, but to get all of that space and to get into the paint took a lot of dribble moves and a lot of cutting. Kingston Price did a great job all the way up until the rim.
Henry right side, trying to facilitate here with the walk-ons in. Crotty saves an errant pass. Into the hands of Price, 7 on the shot clock, kicks it right wing, Max Miller, his time to shine, behind the back, between the legs, looking for options with 2, gives it up to Crotty, he'll step into a jumper, it wasn't off in time. What could have been a fun possession ends in a shot clock violation.
Couldn't quite get the shot off in time, could the Rams? This group of wily walk-ons, as Christian Henry is going to take a seat to a standing ovation from some of the fans here in attendance at the Rose Hill Gym, and what was an incredible performance, being the engine of the offense all day long. Really deep three that time.
Elliott misses on the three. Henry checks out with 19 points, 6 rebounds, and 9 assists. He was phenomenal all around, especially in the second half for Fordham, as the shot clock turns off. 15 seconds left to go. Fordham by 29. Aiden Crotty with the ball. And in the unlikeliest of events, a Fordham team down to his last 7 scholarship players is earning a standing ovation as the final buzzer sounds. 82-53. This group is as lively as it's been all season. Injuries, disease, off-the-court issues. 8-4 are the Fordham Rams.
My goodness, Joe. What a game here on a Saturday afternoon. The same day of SantaCon, but that didn't matter for all the hundreds, maybe thousands in the gym today for the Rams and the Jaspers. The 116th meeting ends in a Fordham victory, and it could not have been a sweeter one, Joe. Very much like 2 years ago in this gym when these two teams came together. It was a great performance all around. But right now, we got a chance to talk to an assistant coach for the Fordham Rams, Coach Derek Phelps. How you doing, Coach?
I'm good. I can hardly hear you. How y'all doing?
We're great. It's loud in here, and that's a well-earned amount of noise from a crowd that showed out today for the Battle of the Bronx. It was a rivalry game. What was the feeling like, and how proud are you of this group, short-handed, coming out and delivering a nearly 30-point win?
Well, we had to really instill in the guys that it was a rivalry game. You know, none of these guys really been in it except the guys that came back from last year. So, very important game. Even when I was here 15 years ago, I knew how important it was going against Manhattan in our own gym. So, it's a real honor to playing this type of deal. And the way our guys show a little fight with certain guys out too and stuff like that, with Marcus Green out and still Louis. Lesmond was still out, and just the guys that were still on the court that were still playing show some fight out there to show that what we're all about.
Coach, you had the same 4 players in double figures as you did against FDU in this game. How impressive is that kind of consistency while missing a handful of scholarship players?
Well, when you're missing a bunch of guys, man, you need consistency. And when you get guys in double figures, not just one guy or two, you get 4 guys that can actually, help out and give some effectiveness and the inside out too. Rika's been great, with double machine, and and Chrisman playing very well lately too. Running a point, getting guys some shots, and Day does Day things. He's the Lewis guy out there, but he plays the biggest. So we're just happy to have certain guys that can show up. And the boss played very well today. Inside. Defensively, just using his length and stuff like that to make it hard for guys to make shots. So, total team effort.
It felt like a holistic effort. It was your scout for this game. Feels like the scout was executed pretty well, no?
Oh, of course, for sure. Very detailed about it. I coached against Coach Gallagher before when I was at Marriott, so I had a feeling like what things he does and stuff like that. Of course, there's always different personnel, but even though you got different personnel, even with us at Fordham, man, we just got to figure out how to just compete and be ready to play against a game like this with this magnitude.
Coach, second half field goal shooting vastly improved for the Rams compared to the first half. What was the message in the locker room at halftime that empowered the Rams to start finding the bottom of the hoop?
The biggest thing was our turnovers. We were turning the ball over and we had some fast break opportunities, and and we got on our 2 guards, and Christian and Day, they'll have 6 turnovers together. So it was like, we cannot have that. We had opportunities. I think we only scored 6 points in 8 minutes, in the last 8 minutes. So we had to step it up in the second half to be better, to have a chance to even win this game.
You no doubt did. 82-53 the final. Coach Phelps, thanks so much for your time.
Appreciate it. Thanks for having me.
That was assistant coach Derek Phelps as Fordham finishes off an 82-53 win against Manhattan College. The final score here as Volume 116 of the Battle of the Bronx falls squarely in Fordham's favor, that'll do it from the Rose Hill Gym. Fordham advances to 8-4. Manhattan falls to 4-7. Fordham back at it December 21st at home against New Haven at 11 a.m. because why not? I guess we'll do an 11 a.m. game to ring in the holiday season. We'll have that one live on 90.7 FM. In the meantime, from a Fordham win for Tucker Austin and our on-site producer Leah Renshaw, Joe Henry signing off and sending it back to the Rose Hill Studios, where Travis Hayden and Sam Giangrande have your one-on-one post-game report.
The one-on-one post-game report.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the one-on-one halftime report. I'm with Sam Giangrande. Sam, what I said before this half started was that Fordham can't be content with a 6-point lead. They need to keep their foot on the gas and make it improve a little bit more and more to the point where it becomes either 25 or 30 where it's untouchable. And, man, that is what happened.
Travis, I think coach just took the words right out of your mouth and said it to the team because they did not take their foot off the gas and put utter dominance on the offense, where this Manhattan University team is known for their offense, usually scoring above 80. They couldn't even come close to that. And Fordham scored 82, never taking their foot off the gas whatsoever, just putting on utter dominance on the court today.
Man, the story of this game, I feel like the big stat that really pops out to me is the rebounding.
100%.
In this game, as we said going into the first half, Fordham had more offensive rebounds than Manhattan had defensive rebounds. By the end of the game, it was tied, where Fordham had 15 offensive rebounds while Manhattan had 15 defensive rebounds. That is right there. That's not winning basketball. You need to be able to grab the Fordham's. Manhattan needs to be able to grab Fordham's misses, and that was something they just weren't able to do today. They were out rebounded 47-21. The scoring percentage in the second half was insane. Fordham's output was crazy. Christian Henry with a big second half. 18 points coming out of nowhere. The three ball was working. That wasn't working before. Everything finally seemed to click for Fordham in the second half.
100%. I think every single little minute and small detail just finally all went together. I think their weakest thing going into halftime was their threes, and even then they were improved on that a significant amount. And then just the rotation, only having these 7 players, and then the gap between your top scorer and second top is only 2 points. If you look over to Manhattan, there's a 7-point gap where it's 16-9. Well, for Fordham, it's 21-19, and then third's 18. That rotation play is brilliant. And being able to pass the ball around, Fordham had a hunger for this ball. They did not want to let it up. No matter where the ball was, they were chasing after it. If the ball just went off the glass whatsoever, they were right being there to be able to get that ball. So this Fordham team, they really, under such hard odds, having a party bus coming of all these Manhattan fans, one of their best players getting food poisoning 5 hours before tip-off, but being able to have this Battle of the Bronx go to Fordham's side, it was an incredible showing today.
Yeah, this was a huge victory. As we could see, at the first half, they were 2 for 11 from 3, and Fordham ended up going 7 for 19. Very, very impressive run by them. Finishing the game 7 for 19 after starting 2-11. That means they went 5 for 7 in the second half. The three ball was on point. Part of the reason why this lead was so big, again, the biggest lead going into the halftime was 12 for it, but then Manhattan cut it down to 6, and then finishing the game by 31. 52 points in the paint for Fordham. Just an overall dominant win, and they didn't even do it from the line. They only went to the free throw line they went to the line 1 time per half this game. Manhattan made all 9 free throws, and there was still nothing they could have done.
Just incredible from Fordham. Really a show of utter dominance, showing that even with not as many players as the Jaspers had, Fordham was able to use that rotation play, make sure that their players weren't getting tired, they weren't just getting gassed out, but at the same time putting that aggression, the pressure onto Manhattan, and all these fans now are going to leave with a loss.
Yeah, no, it's a lot of very impressive performances today. Again, Christian Henry, 19 points, 8 for 16, 6 rebounds, 9 assists. That's a really great game. Reiche Schultz from our German big man, 21 points, 10 for 10 from the field, and 10 rebounds. What a great double-double, perfect from the field day. Just everything that could have gone right for Fordham today went right, and it was really just amazing to see.
A by-definition field day for Fordham. A brilliant win for them. I think just look at the the field goal percentage going from 40 to 71, just in between. So like they were able to score so much more with so many less players and not being able to have those breaks that Manhattan probably had. Manhattan definitely had more breaks, more time to be able to regroup. While Fordham, it was just in and out, in and out, in and out. But they're able to keep up with that and put the pressure onto Manhattan to where they couldn't get to their usual scoring records.
Yeah, this was a very impressive win for Fordham. After starting off 40% from the field goal, they ended up shooting 55%. That's always a number any coach would like. And with Fordham going into their next game, Sam, how do you feel about them going into University of New Haven, a newly D1 school?
I think Fordham, they shouldn't have this win just define the next few games. I think you have to be consistent. You can't say, hey, we lost the next 3, but just think about that Battle of the Bronx. You have to be able to put that scoring and put to your next games. And even if in New Haven, where it's not, say if it's a more defensive team, be able to apply the tactics I used and see what made this game so well and put it to the next one. You can't just win off one game and then lose the next few, which even though Fordham really hasn't been doing. Just winning such a big game and having the energy, having the little showmanship from that, put it towards the next game, work just as hard, if not harder, for the next game. Say, hey, we came off the Battle of the Bronx win and then won our next 3, or at least next 2. Like, this is not living off that one win, being able to use your tactics and hopefully having more refreshed squad, having more of the players in, so it's not just only one group of players in and out. Being have that refreshed squad, make sure they're using that rotation play, which Fordham does so well, which leads to team chemistry and hopefully leads to team loyalty.
Yeah, no, Fordham University, they come back. Fordham basketball comes back on Monday, December 22nd against University of New Haven. Should be a good game for them. University of New Haven, this is their first year as a D1 program. They're currently 5-6 on the year as Fordham now moves to 8-4, and it should be really excited. I've been Travis Hayden. Our color commentary has been Tucker Austin, play-by-play Joe Henry. We have Sam Giangrande here doing updates for us. Leah Renshaw is doing sideline producer. Derek Bullier producing for us here in studio, and our sports director is Bobby Chaffardini. See you next time, Fordham. UConn.